methods. If you have not followed his Triple H horse racing podcast, you're missing out. It's one of the best podcasts in the country.
Good afternoon. We are live here on the HHH Racing Podcast. It is episode 247. Thanks for joining us this afternoon as we're going to be covering three fantastic races for you live right here on the channel, including the Grade 2 Shakertown 5.5 furlong turf race from Keeneland. The Tapit Trice watch party will begin with the Bluegrass Stakes at Keeneland, and then right after that, we're going to also cover the Santa Anita Derby. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Please make sure you gather around the TV, turn that TV sound off, and turn on your iPad, computer, whatever you're doing to watch the HHH Racing Podcast. We're going to give you some great details and analysis of these three races. Please make sure you subscribe right there on the bottom right-hand side of the screen. We are only 36. That's right, 36 people away from 2,000 with the subscribers. So please make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button as well, and also the notification bell so you know when new content will rise. You can follow me there on Twitter. You can see on my name tag at @HKravitz, and also on the bottom of the screen, you'll see a scroll with my email, hkravitzhorse@gmail.com. You can also listen to replay this on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor. The Power Picks, of course, they're hot. We just hit with Papilio at 5-1 not too long ago. So make sure you check out the Power Picks. We really appreciate all of you that subscribe. We also have a fantastic website, hhhracingpodcast.com. Check that out. We're going to have many people, many co-hosts on the show. We're going to be popping in and out in the next hour and a half, so strap it in. We're going to have some great intel for you. We already have Katie. Hello, Katie. David Barista, the Tapit Trice watch party. We love him. Paul Halloran loves him. Matt Miller loves him. We've got a lot of reasons why to love him. Matt Miller, we honestly should give Howard a standing ovation. Oh, that's very nice, Matt. When he starts the show for Papilio, boom. Put that in your Power Picks and smoke it. I love it, Matt. Glad there was not an inquiry, but frankly, I don't think she was much to blame there at all. I think that was the right call. Wow, look who's here. Davy Lane chiming in from Europe at about, 9:30 out there in Liverpool. Remember, you have viewers in Europe, so it's good evening. Like the old school picture there. Davy from probably, just a year or two ago, I'm sure. Davy, thanks for joining. All right, let me bring on one of my co-hosts. We're going to have several people joining us throughout the day. This particular co-host is wise. He's smart. He's full of vim and vigor. It's in the afternoon, so he's wide awake. Let's bring him on from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and journalist for the Saratoga Special, Mr. Paul Halloran. And just jumping now in to the green room, let's bring on from the East Coast of Maryland. I hope he's not trying to avoid his in-laws because I know he's got a very busy day. It is the one and only Pete Visco. Guys, how are we doing today?
What's up, fellas? Yes, that's exactly what I was doing. I told them, I said, I have to go downstairs for a little bit. I'll see you in a while.
Oh, so that's downstairs. I never realized that was downstairs.
Yeah, this is downstairs. Yes. So everybody else is upstairs. I am, locked in the basement, which is fantastic.
Got the Luca you got the Italian sweatshirt on. Luca Panici ran a huge race.
Italy everywhere. Italy.
Mary Quite Contrary ran big in the Madison just now.
Yeah, she was great. I mean, she just couldn't. Goodnight Olive was just too good to get to. But yeah, that was impressive. I mean, I think Mary Quite Contrary. Oh, sorry, I was gonna say Mary Quite Contrary stamped herself as, we always thought she was maybe a little lower level wise, and now she's kind of stamped herself, up there a bit.
Yeah, I think Good on All was probably like a B- raised. I read it was very cheeky in the stretch there, but Mary Quite Contrary ran very well. Guys, we are here, of course, to talk about three races: the Shakertown, the Bluegrass, and the Santa Anita Derby. It's already been a very eventful weekend for yours truly on many levels, sometimes good, sometimes bad, with some horses with the Delphi and the negative with the start of the All Stakes Pick 5, but at Keeneland. But hey, what are you going to do? We are going to be first talking about the Shakertown guy. This is a grade 2. We have I'm trying. I don't have it on the screen. I was going to find out the minutes to post here, but it's always a fantastic race. We talked about this race, guys, on our various live podcasts this week. As I go and scroll to my phone
16,
here,
16
we got 16
minutes.
minutes of us. Okay, we're going to bring
Although
up
the Carter at Aqueduct is in the gate right now.
Grade 1 race in New York. That's all.
Oh,
Paul, you got major sound issues.
Paul, we lost you there. We lost you, Paul.
We lost you, Paul, and it was very in and out. All right, Paul.
Really?
Yeah, you sound like a robot.
You sound like you're underwater, Paul.
You got a little robot
really
thing
bad.
going.
It's actually pretty poor. We'll see if Paul can figure that out. They are in the gate in the Carter, which we weren't planning on talking about, but
I mean, it's there.
Yeah, no, it's there.
Well, I missed the. Go ahead, Howard.
Big scratch with White Barrio. Unfortunately, I think he had a little illness. Same with Go Rocket Ride, but we'll be plenty of time to talk about that. The Carter looks like it's probably the 4's horse to lose, but I thought the 1 with speed on the inside could wire the field. Although they're backing him out. No. Anyway, we're flying here. Who knows what you're talking about? Little Vic, there goes today's flavor, as we sort of figured. I figured out.
That was the speed, right? I mean, that's definitely
today's flavor. The speed. The 3 is actually showing quite a bit of speed too. We're detouring, folks, because the Carter's a nice race. So while we just talk about, guys, what the hell? We got today's flavor bet down all the way to 3-1. They are a 3-way speed duel, and Repo Rocks, guys, is just sitting an absolute dream trip, about 4 off the lead with Little Vic on the outside. Today's flavor looked like he's doing it pretty well. Did you have a thought in this race, Pete? We talked about this race, obviously.
Well, when we talked about it, I liked White Barrio, unfortunately, and then he scratches. But me and you like the 1 and the 1 looks pretty strong. Repo Rocks is going to have some work. Actually, no, the 5 is Little Vic. The 4 looks like it's maybe ranging, but it
really
doesn't.
Wide
he's
right
not.
now.
Yeah, he's not moving.
Well, the 3
he's not moving very well.
Out. Little Vic has every chance to win this, and actually the 3 is sort of re-rallying. Reba Rocks looks like he's not really getting his act together. Today's flavor still has the lead. This thing's going to fall apart. I don't know what's going to happen. Something really weird might happen here. Reba Rocks trying to get there on the outside. Here comes a bomb with the 7. Today's flavor. I don't have the 7. Oh my Lord.
Nope, me neither.
What in the world? This is the longest shot on the board.
Oh, you know what? I do have the 7 as a.
Oh my Lord Almighty!
I like that horse, but the figures were low.
Okay. Anyway, let's. Well, what is going on today? All these sprint races are just falling apart, and just weird stuff is happening. And I think that was the longest shot in the race.
I need to check my tickets now, because what the heck did I have? I had.
My goodness. Well, anyway, let's get to the Shaker Town. We'll take a look at it was Doppelganger was 17-1. That was a former Baffert horse, right?
Yeah,
correct.
But it's been hot too.
Longest shot on the board. Here's Kyle Roscoe's here.
I'm upset.
Shot on the board.
I need a Repo Rocks there. I'm upset.
No, I
needed just like about anyone except this.
I got the 7 in the pick to start the pick 4. So,
but you are correct, Howard. That was a old Baffert horse.
All right. Let's talk about the Shakertown, guys. I'm going to go ahead and bring up the PPs for the Shakertown, and we'll jump right in here as I go ahead and Paul's your sound. You want to try the sound again?
Hello.
Hey, there you go.
There you go.
There's your pretty voice again.
All right, let's go to the Shakertown, guy. This is an absolutely wide open turf sprint. Let's go over our picks first that we gave out in the show. I have 5-3-12 in this race. Pete, who are your top 3 in the Shakertown?
I had in the Shakertown 5-12-8.
Okay. Paul, who do you have?
I had 12-3-8.
Okay. And Kyle, we haven't get to hear your opinion on this race.
3-12-5.
Actually, I switched to 5-12-3 when I did my picks this morning. So I think we're all in similar
camp.
Yeah.
Sounds like it. Let's go ahead and break down this race. There are a lot of horses, guys, coming off a layoff and coming off the Breeders' Cup. Let's just count how many there are. You got Artemis City Limits, the 3, who's very live. Actually, let me refresh. So I think we should see live odds on here if I refresh. Okay, there we go. Yep, we got live odds now. You've got Artemis City Limits, who is bet down to 3-1 right now, coming off that layoff. You have, I'm just trying to, again, I'm looking for the horses coming off the Breeders' Cup, guys. Obviously, Caravel, she won the Breeders' Cup. Is 9-5 morning line. Boy, am I against this horse today. You've got Oceanic, who I don't think is impossible here at 8-1. I mean, he's got some nice numbers. Just didn't run very well from the 14 hole in the Breeders' Cup. And then you've got Recipe Red coming off the Breeders' Cup. So there's a lot of horses coming off layoffs. Let's talk about the 5 first. Pete, you and I think have the 5 on top. Let me go full screen here. You and I have the 5 on top. This is a horse that is trained by Wayne Catalano, who's an excellent trainer. Ran 100 buyer, but as we talked about on the show Thursday, it's not as if this horse is coming out of nowhere. I mean, he has run some nice figs, but this is a step up in class, obviously.
Yeah, and I think the way we talked about it was if you sort of wiped away all the dirt races, then all you see on the turf is a horse that's been steadily improving and then has even gotten better since the switch to Catalano. So I mean, you got 5 straight races on the turf, all of them buyers improving, topping off with that 100 in the last with a nice win. Likes the distance, 5 for 5 in the top 2. Catalano Lannery, we had 4 for 7. They win. I mean, not much, but it's still, they've had some success together. So I think this one is one on the up and up, and we can hopefully see a big performance at what we're seeing at a 8-1 right now, which is a beautiful price.
Yeah, pretty juicy. Paul, I know you like the 12 Arrest Me Red, who I've chased a lot of times. I mean, he's very honest, and he's won 6 out of 12. And obviously Rosario can win. I know you have small concerns about Rosario. He's got to work out something in the 12 post, although, of course, the rails are down. If you've been watching Keeneland, it's a very wide turf course. There's plenty of room. I guess just the question is twofold. Is he going to be ready, and can he get the trip?
Well, certainly, I hope when you chased him, you weren't able to catch him, because if you were able to catch him, I don't like him at all.
Fair enough.
Nice with it.
Yeah, I think he does get a trip here, Howard. And Warden Rosario and turf sprints at Keeneland are 6 for their last 12, although Rosario's not riding well. And I'm not a huge fan, but I admit he's one of the great jockeys. He is not riding well right now anywhere. So let's just be clear on that. But I do think I'm with you guys in that the 8 is being overbet. The other horse I like is also a speed horse, is the 3. I'm looking at one of those 2 to maybe steal it. Interesting, you guys brought up Oceanic. Our good friend Jessica Paquette from Parks. I'm on an email thread with her every morning, and this is her best bet of the day. So
wow.
She likes this horse a lot today. So.
I'll tell you how I feel about this race, guys. Today is in general, it's been up and down for me, although the doppelganger did not help my cause whatsoever. And Kyle, we'll get your opinions here in just a second. But I do have a decent $3. This $3 altar pick 3, Kyle, is one hell of a bet. And with Pelio winning, I've got everyone except like 4 or 5 horses in this race, which you know what that means, Kyle.
Yep.
But tell us what your opinions of this race, that we haven't heard details. Did you say you went to 3? I'm sorry, I can't remember.
I did. The Artemis City Limits is my top pick. This horse just seems like a really, really good spot for this horse. Picks up Irad in this spot as well for Maker. Coming off, I mean, he ran well in the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint. Caravel ran him off their feet that day. And I'm completely with you, Howard. I'm completely against Caravel in this spot. We talked about it on Thursday, but I need to see it again from that type of horse to be able to, especially at 8-5, which is, I mean, I'm definitely not taking a horse like that at 9-5 right now. But it just comes down to the fact where I don't necessarily know if Artemis City Limits needs the lead. He obviously runs better on the lead, but out of the 3 posts, it could be hard being the inside speed. But I think this horse is really primed for a really good effort in this spot.
Rob N, thanks for joining the show. He likes Artemis first. I think he just misspelled that, but he's going to Artemis and then Rescue Red and Oceanic. To me, guys, this race is very trip dependent and intent. Like whatever jockey really wants to go will probably get the lead. I don't know how you guys. Oh, let's see. Tony Rollo's here. This field don't want that smoke. Where's Smoking Jay in this race?
Yeah, I was going to say, what are you doing? Come on, you can't talk Tony, smack when you don't even have him in the race.
Smoking Jay's waiting for another spot. But
2 weeks.
this race is very trip dependent. Paul and Pete, all these horses coming off layoffs, do you think they're more likely not to send hard because that may not be 100% fit? Like, I always think sprinters coming off a layoff are ridden a little less aggressively. It's just a gut feeling, but I really have no idea.
Now, turf sprint though, Howard, you really can't be too laid back. You got 5.5 here, so it's not a 5, but typically they're a cavalry charge, and I don't think you're winning from the back end. I think you need to be at least mid pack here.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Caravel, you don't really have another shot but then to go to the lead. And if you're Arrest Me Red from the 12 hole, you have to send a little bit or else you're going to be sort of stuck way back. So, I mean, I think the race is sort of going to dictate what the decision is more than the layoff, I would imagine.
Could really
Paul,
set up for
how good is Caravel, Paul? I mean, she basically has one run now? She did have 95 at Saratoga in what I thought was a relatively weak turf sprint, frankly, based on the field. I don't know. This is just, if Nick Tamero had this horse 4-1 morning line, I think she'd be 4-1 right now. I think there's a lot of people betting Keeneland, a lot of casual bettors, and I think that's part of the reason why she's this low.
Well, I think we talked about it the other night. I said with that buyer and coming off the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint, I was sure they were going to bet this horse, and no doubt. So, I'm going to certainly try to beat her. And the more we keep talking about speed, I'm looking at this Oceanic, who throw out the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint, and she went into that race. He went into that race off 2 good races. I think I may try to get this horse underneath, Howard.
I'm sorry, which horse was that?
Oceanic.
The 10.
Yeah, no, listen, I don't understand the price on this horse. I mean, 200 buyers, almost won the Woodford, which is basically this version of the race in the fall against a pretty
Golden
decent
Cow.
horse in Golden Cow. I mean, ran big at Colonial. This horse was trending in the right direction. We could watch the replay of the Breeders' Cup or not. I mean, he just didn't break great and was just wide, and Leproux looked like he just sort of, gave up, so to speak. But that was a wire job, I think, by Caravel. So maybe didn't quite set up for a close. I think Amaraniata, who was a nice Euro, came from mid-pack, if I remember, Creative Force. I mean, obviously it was a loaded field. Morales knows this horse. He tends to be a little more aggressive than Julian. Any thoughts about that, you guys?
No comment.
Well, the one thing, though, you see with this horse is he was actually, he generally would run a lot closer, but those were against lesser horses who maybe he could keep up with a little earlier. But then when he hit the graded stakes, he started to, you see those 2 graded stakes races, he's way in the back. So maybe that's the problem, though, is just they're a little faster up front than the horses he was running down when he was in lower level company. And maybe now it's just harder to catch the top sprinters up top.
Jim Plars wants to pop in and say hello. I had to leave my betting platform before Aqueduct bankrupts me. Yeah, that was,
Yep.
That Carter was a complete cluster. Anyone have the 7? Congratulations. Do not know what is happening there today. There's been some strange stuff today for sure. We got Matt Miller's going to chime back in. He's on his last leg of the Naira Bets contest. He's been watching closely all day. It's impossible to make sense of it. It's been very hard to make money at Aqueduct, guys, for sure. There is a horse in this next race, though, and again, we're not really talking about Aqueduct, but since I brought it up, I talked about Candle quite a bit on the show, guys. The 4, I don't know what the odds are. I'm gonna look it up right now. I'm sure the 6 is a big favorite for Chad.
3-1.
Candle's 3-1.
Yeah.
We don't want Candle to win. We're gonna root against Candle here.
You've got what? You got Veronica Single in the pick 4. I'm assuming.
No, I have the 2. I have both Chads in the pick 4. So.
Okay. All right. Well, good luck with that. Yeah. So this race is the second leg of the $3 all turf pick 3. Did any of you guys play it? Do you have interest in playing it? Have you ever played it? It's a nice bet.
I love the bet. I didn't play it today, but when we go down to Keeneland eventually, that's going to be one of my big bets. Is I'm going to be looking because it's a great bet.
When would that be?
I don't know, Howard. When would that be?
Next week.
That's right.
If you're going to be at Keeneland next week, we are going to be there. So is Kyle and Paul. The 3 of us are going to be there. Please hit us email or DM us. We'll be happy to meet up with you. There's a lot of things going on, including Drew Coney. Do we know when Drew's getting the the award, the presentation, Kyle? Your details?
I haven't heard any details of what exact race it's going to be, but I know it's going to be after a race on Saturday.
Okay, well, we'll send that out. Of course, there's the grade 1 gamble. How much time we got to Keeneland, guys?
3
minutes to Keeneland. Let's go ahead and look at the odds here. As I'm just going ahead and let me go back to here, flipping around here. I'm going to put the TV. We got there's Harley. Harley's there. Gotta love Harley. If you don't know what Harley is, you don't know Kentucky horse racing. They did. Of course, they just take it right off the screen as I go on. Guys, we have Caravel. I'm assuming is the favorite, correct?
Yes.
8-5 Caravel. Artemis City Limits 7-2. Arrest Me Red 4, and then Mr. 7, and those are the only 4 under 10-1. Oceanic is right at 10. So basically, the horses we talked about are the top 5 choices for the most part. But if you can beat Caravel, you're in pretty decent shape with any of them, I think.
I will take literally anyone except Caravel other than Monster Bombs. So I guess I'm being like even the 4-horse guys. I don't know if you guys looked at the 4 Baker's Bay. I know he's been on Poly, but he's really sharp right now. I mean, I don't think he's impossible. There's just, I even have the 6 at 50-1 for Brian Hernandez. I mean, there's just Badby Brian is 34-1. Someone explain that to me. He's an honest horse. No idea. He probably won't win, but I mean, guys, if Caravel wins, I mean, I'm going to have him, but I'll be pretty upset. I mean, she's going to have to run a monster race here.
I'm alive to a double. I'm alive to Artemis City Limits and Arrest Me Red are the 2 I'm alive to right now.
Beautiful.
Me too, Kyle.
Let's go.
Noah's actually at Keeneland, so we've got intel from Noah. Artemis looks unbelievable in person. I'm assuming Noah's the guy in the middle, by the way. I don't even know. You'd have to assume, right, that if you're going to take a picture of yourself and 2 other people, you'd put yourself in the middle, I would think, and then put it up on Twitter. But Noah said that Artemis looks very good. Katie, listen, who doesn't love Harley? Harley, by the way, is a pony, a lead pony that is actually not a thoroughbred. I can't remember the breed of that horse, but he weighs like 3,000 pounds or some insane number. Not that much, but 2,000 pounds. He's a big MFer. Very cool horse. Guys, they're about to go to the post. Again, whip around final top pick. Kyle, top pick.
Artemis City Limits.
The 3. Paul?
Yep.
Arrest Me Red.
Pete?
Mr.
I'm going with Mr. Pete, we're thinking mid-pack trip.
Yeah, it's sitting right off the speed. Hopefully we can get a little pace going up front, and we can sit right off. Although I have nothing going, so I'm here purely for enjoyment and pick sake. Everything else I have is dead at Keeneland.
I have a win in place on Mr. I do have a $3 pick 3 all turf, although I'm single in the last leg to the Clement horse. Wonder why. But he's got a serious foe in the last race of the $3 pick 3. The 3 is the 3 horse is very live. Again, we are not going to show it live on the screen. We don't have those kind of copyright, but I won't give the call the race, guys. We'll just talk about it. Who gets the lead? I have absolutely no idea. I'm going to say Artemis City Limits, but I have no idea.
That would be my hope for sure. But we'll see how the.
I mean, I think
I'm going to watch the outside. I'm going to watch the outside because I want to see the 8, 10, and 12 do, guys. I think that's where the outside speed. They are at the post for the Grade 2 Shakertown at Keeneland. Looks like Artemis is a little bit fractious, and they're off, and
it's a cluster.
Many horses are going.
And everyone's going.
And everyone go.
Everyone's going.
Caravel's going to get the lead. Artemis is sending. I love where Mr. M is, by the way.
Yeah.
Love where Mr. M is. I didn't want Caravel on the lead. This sort of pisses me off, guys. But
who's the 9 again? I don't
the 9 is Badby Brian, who's a nice horse. I want Mr. M to take back a little bit here, Pete. He's like in between.
Well, I think he's just
fine. He's okay.
No, he's fine now.
Badby Brian is talking Caravel 21-4. Artemis is getting a great trip. The 10 is also getting a nice trip. Come on, Mr. Mr.
I think Mr. looks a little
pretty comfortable, and I was in between. Caravel still has the lead. Badby Brian. Badby Brian's trying. Caravel's now being asked. Mr. is not going to get it done. No one's really coming. Badbeat Brian's got a big. Come on, Badbeats.
Come on, 12.
Come on, Badbeat. Here comes Arrest Me Red on the outside. Someone go by Caravel, please.
Nope. No.
Don't hang. Come on, Badbeats.
Unbelievable.
Come on, Bad. Oh, damn it.
So boring, man.
I seriously can never get that freaking horse right, man.
So boring. My God. It's just I don't know what's going on at Keeneland, man.
Do you
I
guys
just
have
cannot.
any idea how big this altar pick 3 would have been with Papilio and Badby Bryan?
I believe it.
That would have been 2,000 at least. I still have to get the last leg. Son of a.
Oh.
Oh, well, you got to give credit to Caraval. What do you do? Arrest Me Red did what Arrest Me Red does,
Yeah.
Paul. Ran very well. Was just a bit wide. They're showing Brad Cox, who had he didn't have Caraval. Is Caraval Brad Cox?
Yeah, it is, I think.
Oh, it is. Man,
That's Qatar Racing or whatever.
That horse is a tough cookie.
Boy, I'll tell you what. Full credit to this horse. I will bet against this horse in general. I mean, in general, every single time. I mean, I had her, but I didn't want her. That also lowers, if you're alive in the pick 5 or pick 4s, that lowers it tremendously because I thought this was a complete cluster race. I just want to see if I had Badby Bryan on everything I did. I have Caraval too, but I didn't.
Who's that in the middle? Oh, the 10.
Oceanic, yeah.
Oceanic was moving.
Oceanic ran well. Wow.
But I mean, the problem, the 3 was the problem. The 3 giving it up to the 8 so easy, which was the concern. Which is why I didn't like the 3, and then I wind up talking myself. It didn't matter, but
I think that was tactics wise. Honestly, I think pulled out.
Jim Pillars, I hear you, man. If you had talk about living up to a name. If you had Badby Bryan,
yep. Yeah.
I mean, ran huge. No excuses though. He just wasn't good enough. But
Chris Amy couldn't get him up.
Wow.
That's the problem, though, when the only horse you can rely on is a bomb who isn't as good as the horse that they're chasing. You just can't. It does, and it helps. Everybody else was just too far back.
It was just the layoff. It was just a layoff situation. Badby Bryan again. The sin was improving. Brittany Vanberg,
yeah.
Which Kyle pretty well. I mean, she's raced in Chicago. She's really underrated. I put her like in the same category as another fantastic trainer that we know very well. One of them that trains for Adelphi. For Crownsway.
Yep.
She's a really good trainer. And Chris Amy almost got this horse up, Kyle, at a monster price, 40-1. I have no idea. I said it before, so this is not red boarding. I thought the 9 was a little bit interesting.
I mean, you look back. I mean, the horse has. I mean, last year at Keeneland ran in the Woodford, only lost by 2 to all the Oceanic, Artemis City Limits, Golden Pal. I mean, it's that same race. So, I mean, good numbers back in 2022, and that looks to be probably another decent number for that horse on turf. So, all Chicago connections on that horse, Howard.
I've never felt so bad having a horse in an exotic. That's just okay. Well, we got to move on. No one wants to hear me kvetching and mining one. Paul, how'd you feel about Arrest Me Red in general?
I feel he can't win that race from where he was. Stop me if you've heard that before. He was just too far. But I think he ran well. I think he ran well considering where he was. But
okay,
like I said,
not winning from there.
Yep. For that, I mean, you touched on it, Howard. I mean, that's what the horse does. He puts himself in those types of positions sometimes, and he runs an honest race, but he just can't get to horses that will be on the lead like Caraval. They'll just sprint away from him.
We have Simon O'Neill here. Simon, how you doing? That was good for Matt Miller, apparently. Yep. I'm guessing he played. I know he had Papilio. He said he played a pick 4. It sounds like he did a Papilio with maybe singles. I don't know. He's probably got it multiple times with I don't know whom, but that worked out for Matt. So good for you. Congratulations on that, Matt. But Chris Amy, Pete, did on the 9. I mean, he did everything that you want. He put him in a perfect spot.
Yeah,
just wasn't good enough. I can't see. The race sort of held together, and I think the key, Paul hit the nail, or maybe you hit the nail on the head, Pete. The minute Artemis City Limits backed out of there, that changed the complexion. But if you send up the inside and battle, it's just a tough spot, man. Because if you send up there and battle, you're probably going to lose. I guess they figured that horse could rate. I'm always more the aggressive type. I say just don't F it, just go for it. But has Artemis shown ability to rate and close? I think he has, right?
No, very little. I mean, generally loses ground in the stretch for the most part. So okay. I just don't love a horse like that where maybe it's Irad. Somebody mentioned in here about, Jim did about Irad's chink in the armor is when he has a pure speed horse. He said he doesn't like to gut fields, but in turfs likes to sit back and make his late stalking run.
That.
I mean, he's not someone who's going to take a horse to the top. He doesn't usually take. It doesn't seem like he usually has speed horses. Like, he'll get to the top if he's like the only one who gets to the lead and is smart enough to do it when nobody else wants it. But he doesn't seem like he's just going to try and run anybody off their feet. I know. Okay. He just doesn't hold. I mean, in graded stakes races, that horse doesn't hold, which is what I didn't like. But if you're a speed horse, you got to try and be the speed. I mean, that's the only way you're going to win some of these races.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think I guess we can criticize Irad. That's fine. I have no problem.
No, it's not a criticism. It's just that if you have a speed horse that has no other method of winning, it's tough. Maybe
they're showing the replay right now on FanDuel. Mr. M, by the way, was disappointing, Pete. We were wrong. Let's flat out
that horse was terrible. No, that horse was
he got
terrible.
a good trip. He just wasn't good enough. But I have no problem taking a shot on 8-1 in that situation.
No, I don't.
I'm watching the replay, Paul, for Arrest Me. They're showing some low camera angle on FanDuel. I don't know what the hell they're doing here. Okay, now all right, so we're not even going to be able to see. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, boy, Babby Bryant almost got in front at one point. Just didn't. Arrest Me. I was flying around with the 10. So, guys, we are right. We had the right ideas there, other than Artist City. Yep. Actually, not completely. Artist City Innocent Run and Mr. M. But the outside horses we mentioned, I always want to be more on the outside in these turf sprints, guys. Paul, I know you don't want to be like 4 or 5 wide, but it just seems like in even on the dirt, to be honest. Again, Badby, boy, that would have been a nice try to have. Try was
198 for 50.
200 for 50 cents with the favorite who ended up. She drifted at 2-1, by the way, guys. Not that it matters, but
very.
I always prefer to be on the outside anyway, though, Paul, in sprints, just because you can look to your left and see what's going on in general.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that. But when you're all the way out to the 12, where the Rest Me Red was, I just think you got to be a little closer, really. I did not expect Caravel to get that easy a lead. It wasn't a big lead, but she got it easily. But you know what? I just saw Lizzie Merriman and the God love her, another great Pennsylvania bred. What a great job they've done with this horse. Of course, she trained the horse herself before handing her over to Graham Motion, and then in turn was handed over to Brad Cox. But just a really good 13 for 21 now. This horse is.
My only complaint with the other jockeys in this race, Pete, then we're going to move on, is if they think Caravel is that good, you have to go after her, because if she doesn't get the lead, she probably doesn't win. I think that race pretty much proved it. Yet they still let her go there to the lead. So I don't know. I don't like to.
I mean, how many times do we say that?
I'm just saying, right? If you got to beat the speed.
I mean, we say that all the time, though, right? We say that. We're like, why didn't somebody go after this horse? And then you're just pissed at the end because the horse that was the obvious speed, but you thought they were going to go after, and they don't, and then you're just pissed afterwards. And it happens on the turf way too often. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, Howard. But
no, I don't. By the way, I don't usually show that kind of emotion. By the way, a little hissy fit there at the end, but obviously that would have been monstrous for me. I had the 9 in the pick 4 and the $3 pick 3, so I ain't going to apologize to anyone out there, because you don't get 40 to 1s too often. So I mean, that's a $1,000s difference. Kyle, any general thoughts on the race? With Caravel, I think there's got to be a female turf sprint on Derby weekend. I'd have to look into that, although I can't think of one off the top of my head. I suppose that's where you would go next, right, Kyle? Assuming there is a race at Churchill.
Yeah, but I mean, you take a look at this, and she takes on the boys, and I mean, granted, we talked about the race complexion and all that, but almost if you think she's good enough, you could almost take a shot in an even bigger race.
You mean like this race?
Yeah, I mean,
Simon O'Neill.
Hey.
Paul, I suppose, why not?
Good.
She's tough. She is a tough cookie, and no problem running against the boys. She's now beaten them twice in a row.
Yep. Maybe if as long as Smokin' Jay runs well, maybe a matchup in New York could be.
Well, this is interesting, Davy Lane. Sheikh Fahad is there in the winner's circle, Keeneland. Seeing that a relatively prominent connection is in attendance is always a clue. I think he means to get the win, but also perhaps going to Europe. We'll see. They have they have several sprint races that are straightaway races, which is a whole completely different ball game. I think the King Stand is that the 5 furlong. Davey Lane, if you're listening, I'm pretty sure it's the King Stand, right?
Simon O'Neill just put it in the chat.
I'm sorry. Yeah, the King Stand. There it is. Yeah, and get 7 pounds. So I don't know. I mean, why not? Listen, I'm always willing to take a chance. Pete, if you got a talented filly, I mean, it's not like there's any great races here in the States. I mean, there's great, there's grade 2s and maybe a grade 1. I don't even know if there's a grade 1 filly mare turf sprint. I can't think of one off the top of my head. A bunch of grade 2s and 3s. I mean, why not?
Yeah, why not? I mean, you might as well do it, especially with a horse that's pretty much she's done everything else already. So you might as well take the shot now while she's in top form. I mean, what do you have to lose at this point? There's not much. By the way, Kyle, if you get Smokin' Jay going against Caraval, you're going to need some other speed to contest her. You're not going to be able to run her down. Even Smokin' Jay might not. You're going to need a rabbit. You're going to have to buy a rabbit and put that one in the race with her.
Yep, I'll throw the 8,500 claimer or
yeah,
Tony will throw the 8,500
claimer. Yeah, he said. Hey, Tony was in the chat. Tell him to start on that. Tell him to start on that now. Get that rabbit going.
Got to get the playbook going. Yeah.
Katie mentions that if Cox was brave enough to do so, then maybe. But Ward, it's true. Ward, Graham Motion will send some horses over there. I don't know. I'm pretty safe to say Cox has not had a runner over there. At least I can't think of one off the top of my head. Yeah. If he has, someone could put that in the chat. Randy Burnham said the dollar pick 3 to the one who I have is 193, which isn't that bad. Kyle, any guess what it would have been if that'd be Brian won?
Probably at least 20 times that, I would say. Would be my guess.
3,800? That's probably about right.
I mean, to go from Caraval 2 to 1 fate. Well, we'll never know, right? But not to mention for the watch party people out there, opens up at 4 to 5. Does Tapit Trice?
Tapit Trice at 4 to 5. All right, let's get into that race, guys. Actually, let's no, we don't need to take. We'll take a quick break before the Bluegrass. Let me bring up the PPs here. I'm just going to my phone. I wish it was in order here. I just want to get the okay, before we go to the PPs, guys. 100-point Derby prep, of course, the Bluegrass. Grade 1, $1 million. I found out through some articles yesterday why Tapit Trice is at the Bluegrass and not the Wood. I guess the owners live right by Lexington, so I didn't know that. I'm sure Todd had his choice, but my gut feeling is Todd would have originally gone to the Wood, but obviously with the connections, wanting to go to the to Keeneland. I mean, minor concern for me. He's never worked over it. He's never ran on it. Paul, obviously, you and I, not everyone knows the story. A lot of people know. You and I have a future bet on Tapit Trice at 60 to 1, and it's not $5 future bet. So we're not going to talk about the numbers. But your thoughts overall, Paul, leading into the Bluegrass era, Tapit Trice, the rail, we talked about this, not ideal. The break is going to be very important. There is speed just to his outside with the 2 and 3 we're going to talk about. But before we get into like the deep dive complexion, the overall thoughts on Tapit Trice in this race, Paul, in general.
I think I'm encouraged by the fact that there's no speed bias today on the dirt. That would have concerned me. It seems like the dirt's playing pretty honest. I guess if verifying is that good, verifying has that 97 2 back. I guess that's a possibility, but I don't. I'm pretty confident in Tapit Trice in this race.
This is one of these weird situations, Kyle and Pete, where if I had no stake in Tapit Trice, I mean, he doesn't have to win this race for anything for my future, obviously. But if I wasn't so involved with this horse, this is a horse I would absolutely try to beat because of his style. He doesn't lay over the field by numbers, really. He has the inside. He's 4 to 5. I mean, I have no problem saying I took Blazing Sevens on top of the 8 in the on our show Thursday. Pete, this is sort of a horse you're supposed to try to beat, isn't it?
Yeah, but I don't. There's not a ton to beat it with. I don't think to beat him with in this field. I think that's the problem. I mean, I think on paper, figure wise, he doesn't lay over the field, especially for a 4 to 5 shot who's on the rail in a 11 horse race. Then that definitely is something that would be concerning. But there's not a ton in here. I mean, he's no Scooby Quando, obviously, so He's got his work cut out for him already. But There we go. Oh, my cousin just popped up on the screen. He texted me Scooby Quando. So there's an
what is
the
I'm
family.
what are the odds on Scooby? I'm sort of
19.
betting. I'm all over the place right now here, guys.
19 to 1.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that, Pete? This is a horse you thought was a little bit interesting.
I like it. I mean, I like it. Like I said, unfortunately, I have no betting interest left in this race. So I'm just watching purely as a fan, but I did like the Tapit Trice Scooby Quando Exacta. So at 4 to 5 and 19, I'll take it.
Why does it just every time I hear that name, I just have to laugh? I don't know. Just,
it's
the word
fantastic.
Scooby is just such a fun. It's just I don't know what it is. It's just for people that don't know, Pete. Talk about your washroom upstairs, the bathroom upstairs in your house.
Yeah. My son was very excited the other day. I told him to watch the video, and my son has a Scooby-Doo bathroom with decked out. We have a custom carpet. We have custom shower curtain. We have pictures. We have toiletries. We have everything you could possibly have. He loves Scooby-Doo. He takes a Scooby-Doo class every week. So
wait. Whoa. What?
Yeah,
Scooby-Doo class. What do you mean?
There's a service called OutSchool. It's a website, and they have teachers who teach whatever class you want. So you could start a class. We could start a class on horse racing if you wanted, and it's for adults, it's for kids, it's for anything. So basically, you pick by your age group, and you pick the class, and you pay. I think it's like my classes that he does. He does multiple classes. It's like $12 a class, and there's a teacher on there who comes super prepared. They have slide decks, and they show clips, and they do everything. So it's basically like a podcast almost, but the teacher.
What do they learn? Like it's a class.
You don't learn. You watch it. You watch an episode, and then you talk about that episode on the next show. And he does it for Marvel movies. He does it for Star Wars, and he does it for film appreciation in general. So he has 4 of these classes that he does every week. And you just, it's awesome. And if you're a teacher, it's like a little side hustle. You can make some money. There you go, Howard. We'll start you up. We'll get you a little ABC class.
Ross Blacker wants to be part of the. We'll send you Ross Blacker.
Hey, Ross. It's only for. I think his range is only about 10 to 13, so we're a little aged out of it, unfortunately.
It's a good side hustle. Well, yeah, that's okay. A few people had Bad Beat Brian. Apparently, that is. I'm sorry to Patrick and Ross and myself and
myself.
Yeah, myself.
I know. That's such a funny
one.
But
I can't be upset about maybe being alive to $4,000. Jesus. By the way, Candle's running at Aqueduct. I don't know if my good friend Matt Miller, who was on a podcast, by the way, that people should check out. It was very complimentary to the show, to all of us, and we all got shout out. So thank you for that, Matt. We really appreciate it. But everyone should listen to that podcast, as Matt was very complimentary. There's a race going on at Aqueduct that I have a little bit interest in because I thought Candle was very interesting in this race that's about to happen. So I'm going to be watching it just a little bit. I think he's going to get an okay trip. He's okay. Anyway, guys, the Bluegrass. We'll wait for we're going to wait for top choices here in just a minute. Let's talk about some other contenders. Kyle, let's talk to you because you weren't part of our personal shows this week. Tapit Trice is the obvious. I can't show the PPs right now because I'm actually watching the race here on the side, but I will show the PPs in a minute. Your opinions on Verifying and Blazing Sevens, the 2 other obvious contenders.
I mean, Verifying I set a pretty good trip in this race. As long as he can go back, obviously he did it against Lesser, but at Oaklawn in that optional claiming race, he looked really good. Came back in the Rebel, didn't look that good, but I mean, it was on the slop. He ran okay in the Champagne on the slop, lost a Blazing. That was the Pete's Blazing Sevens race, his last and only good race that he's ever run, according to Pete. So, but again, he's just, as long as he can run back to that 97, he definitely fits. I think a mid-90s buyer wins this race. So like I said, as long as he can run back, that'll Verifying can definitely win, sitting a good trip. And with number 8, Blazing Sevens, I mean, it's just going to have to see it again. I mean, there's no sugarcoating it. He ran horribly in the Fountain of Youth. Never got the chance, but I mean, that 58 buyer does not look very good on the sheet. But with the equipment change for Chad Brown, granted, I'm like Howard, where I don't necessarily like to see a big equipment change in a big spot like that, like this, but I think it'll put the horse a little more focused. It'll put the horse a little more in the race, going 2 turns. So, and obviously you can look up all the great Chad stats that he has with all the different changes he has going into this race. But again, Blazing Seven's just got to show it again. He's gonna have to show that he can produce that 90s buyer again after a pretty dud effort in the last. But again, with the connections and everything else, I don't see why he can't bounce back to that effort.
Well, he got bumped twice at the start and supposedly got the wind knocked out of him, according to Chad. He's been working well.
Yep.
I know, Pete, I think fair to say you're a little against this horse. I think that's fair to say. It's not really I'm with this horse. It's just the alternatives other than Tapit Trice. I don't love Verifying. I'm not sure about the distance. I guess he's the other logical. The fact that Irad is on this horse, Pete, to me means a lot. We'll see if it means a lot when the race happens, but to me that means something.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely does. And I mean, the horse obviously has a little bit of talent. I just never really liked the horse that much. So I felt like this was one that you can get away from as well. But I mean, obviously if he wins, it wouldn't be totally surprising or anything, but yeah, I don't really love, I mean, hence I landed on Scooby Quando. So it's not like I love much in this race. So, and Verifying, again, it's the Justify thing for me. I just don't know about this horse. I mean, the 97 buyer he popped was on a 1-turn mile, if I remember correctly. I think that's a 1-turn mile, right? And he was on Lasix in that. Oh, no, that's not, is it?
2.
Oh, that is 2, but it was still shorter, under a mile and a 16th, which is Justify seemingly kryptonite. So the Justify horses, the one stat we've been tracking is a mile and a 16th up, 1 for 22. Justify horses. He's 4 for 60 in dirt routes with his horses. So for some reason, they just haven't been able to go longer than the mile. So to me, that you can take him there.
Verifying is a horse we know very well because we were at the Hawthorne contest with Tony Rollo, and I think he needed Verifying a little bit in the contest. And I remember after the race thinking, this horse is a serious racehorse. He got a little bit of a weird trip. Paul, I think you needed Verifying like a pick 4 or pick 5 the day he lost, if I recall, because we talked about the fact that he got sort of a weird trip. I think you wanted Drew to swing out, Paul, like at the turn, and he didn't. Do you remember that race, Paul? It was weird.
Yeah,
I just didn't like the way he finished either. I don't know. I don't know what to make of him.
It was the Rebel that has not come back at all, by the way, as it's the non-key race of all time at this point. So, yeah, I have written in my notes, how good is he? Question mark. The horses coming out of the Rebel are 0 for 5 so far. 3 of the 5 went down in buyer. 1 of them stayed the same. Only 1 went up. So, I like I say, the 97, to Kyle's point that this could be won by a mid-90s. He puts the 97 up. He's a factor. Is he going to put it up at 2 turns? I don't know. And by the way, Howard, I don't know if you watched the Aqueduct race. Was there 1 minute the 6 was not going to win that race?
No, I'm watching Dicey Mochara.
What the hell was that?
Almost just won. There's a horse that at San Diego.
I did see that. I don't even know what the hell happened
fell.
there.
Like, it was awful. I don't know what happened there.
Almost like he lost his footing. It was weird.
Kyle, I saw your reaction. That was bad. Dicey Mochara is a horse I liked at San Anita, Paul. Almost just pulled off a wire job.
What?
And I think there's a big price that won, actually.
Yeah, the biggest price in the field. But
is that right?
Yeah. How did
Awfully
naughty or whatever that horse was?
11-1.
Really?
Yeah.
What in the world?
Well, what the hell happened?
What is going on?
Master of Foxhounds broke slow again. Dicey Mochara went to the lead. What the hell was that?
I don't know. I like Dicey Mochara. It was a pick on our show and pick on the picks, and just got run down by the longest shot on the board. Paul, your overall thoughts? Sorry on Verifying. We got sidetracked there.
Yeah, I'm against. I think maybe he can run second, but unless he gets a real good trip and everything goes his way, I'm against. I like I like Tapit Trice, but I like the 6 and the 7 and 8 both underneath a lot more than Verifying.
Where is the speed coming from, Paul? Because there's not a lot of speed in this race. Apparently, Thomas said that was Gold Phoenix. Wow. If that's Gold Phoenix, that's a very nice. I mean, they're all good horses, but apparently Gold Phoenix is the one that slipped and like flipped over. Or
It
something,
looked like
Kyle.
no,
Very weird.
Gold Phoenix was the 7, but the 3, it looked like it was this, like they both like slipped off the turn. It was really like it almost just looked like the horse lost its footing. It was super weird.
Well, Tom Espinosa said slipped. We're not going to be able to. Obviously, they're not going to show it on.
But to answer your question, Howard, I think they're going to be aggressive with Classic Car Wash in this spot.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. So you have the Gary Barber horse on the lead. I
Well,
suppose.
I think they're going to be aggressive, and he has a gate to wire win, obviously a Florida bred race at Gulfstream, nothing remotely like this, but he's proven to be too far back in both of his last starts. He actually closed second best to Tapit Trice last time. I think they'll be a little more aggressive.
Apparently that was Midnight Joestar. I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought I saw the 7 running on late. So anyway, Classic Car Wash ran well. I mean, if it wasn't for Tapit Trice, he wins the Tampa Bay Derby, Paul. I mean, so you could have worse long shots in here. I want to bring up a horse in this race that I think is a little bit interesting. And I talked about it on the show. And that's the number 11, Mendelssohn's March. Now, we did not have a chance to watch the replay of his last race. I just want to make sure I'm careful with the how much time do we have in the Bluegrass, guys? How much time we got?
Let me see. You got 8. We're good.
All right. I want to show his last race. First of all, look at the breeding. I mean, this horse is by Mendelssohn, who can handle dirt and turf out of a Galileo mare. So there's obviously a ton of turf breeding on the bottom side, but there's also distance on the bottom side. Now, can this horse run on fast dirt? I have no idea. It's McPeak and Brian Hernandez, guys. We've seen this combination run very well before. And I just want to show you the end of his last win, who was against El Tomate, who El Tomate is actually a pretty nice horse. Let me just go right to the end of the race here. The one is look at the hold. This is Mendelssohn's March. I mean, look at this. He's got like a monster hold. He's not even asking. You're like, this horse can't possibly win. Yeah. He absolutely explodes. I mean, he really isn't. Look at it. He's still in tight. When he gets through, this is a very quick turn of foot. I think there's something here, guys. I have no idea if it's going to work out. He finishes well. This is a very aggressive spot. I don't know, guys. I think Mendelssohn's March has to leave from the outside. Kyle and Paul, if he gets a spot, I would not be shocked if this horse runs big.
I mean, a lot of upside to this horse, like you touched on. I mean, not only today, but on the show as well. I mean, this horse can continue to improve off that Oaklawn race. There's absolutely no reason, because I mean, he's gonna have to improve a lot based on figures. Don't get me wrong, but again, even on the outside, I mean, he can still sit a good trip. They got a long run to the first turn.
It just seems to me Paul, there are a lot of other spots that McPeak could have put this horse in. I mean, we just saw a 3-year-old. What the 3-year-old turf race was yesterday, right? The Appalachian, that was for the boys. Am I remember that correctly? He could have run there. I mean, so he's worked well. If I were to play a try, I don't know what I'm going to play yet, but I might throw this horse underneath.
Yeah, and maybe they'll be aggressive with this horse, Howard, too. You never know, from out there. McPeak is off to a good start. He had a bomb winner stakes yesterday, I believe, if I recall correctly. I was just watching the post parade for the Bluegrass. I was a little distracted.
Okay, let me. How does Tapit Trice look?
He looks unfazed, like he always
money.
does.
Wow. I'll tell you what, guys. Let's take a short break. We're gonna take a short break. We've got 6 minutes to post to the Bluegrass. We're gonna take about a 2-minute break, ladies and gentlemen, and we will come back for the $1 million Kentucky Prep, the Bluegrass Stakes, starring the even money shot, Tapit Trice, everyone. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Stay tuned, everyone.
Big mute. Still big mute.
There we go. Okay,
There you go.
We are back, ready to rock and roll. Thanks for joining us. Whoops, Pete, you're still muted also, but he'll unmute himself. There we go. 2 minutes to post. Paul, where do you want Tapit Trice on the first turn?
Well, for future reference, I would like to see him closer to mid-pack. What's there, 12, 11 horses? 6th to 7th instead of 11th, maybe.
Any sort of speed whatsoever.
Pete, I know you thought it'd be best for him to win this race. They should just take back again.
Well, I just don't think he wants to be caught on the rail, even if it's closer to the pace, because I think he's better just getting to the outside and whatever. So maybe if he could take back a bit, let the speed go by, and then sort of ease out into the 2-path, maybe. So he's already got an easier shot then to get outside when they hit the lane. I just think with his style and his body type and the way he runs, I think he'll be better. Just let me get to the outside. Let me have no impediments, and let me just run straight ahead with this horse.
Impediments. Wow.
You like that, right?
Teach your word.
Sharp,
Big
yes,
word.
yes.
You didn't learn that in the Scooby class, did you? Because that's a big
I just
word
ran
right
upstairs and opened the dictionary, and it was the word of the day. So, I figured I might as well use it.
Kyle, where do you want Tapit Trice if you want him to win?
I mean, of course I want him to win, just for more for the team than anything. But I mean, it would be nice to see him flash at least to show that he has the ability to break from the gate first and foremost. But I mean, that 7th or 8th, 6th, 7th, 8th range seems really good, and as long as he's kept in the clear, because has he taken a lot of dirt? I really don't think he has. Has he?
Not
in
too
his previous
much.
races.
They're loading Paul again. All I want is him to come out healthy and have a nice final quarter. That's really all I want. Paul, I'm a little nervous. I got to say right now, especially because this rail. If he doesn't get checked or steadied at some point in this race, that would be an unbelievable ride by Saez. They are almost all in the gate. Mendel's march about to go in. It's the $1 million Bluegrass #1 Tapit Trice, the big favorite. Let's see if we can get the job done. Let's see who gets tickets to the Kentucky Derby. Here we go.
Trice time.
Okay, Tapit Trice did what he normally does. Luis Saez is asking Paul. He's okay. He's actually showing but he just got checked a little bit.
He doesn't like the kickback at all.
He's okay. He's going to get him to the outside, Paul. Your thoughts, Paul, right away? Paul's not okay. Pete, your thought with Tapit Trice is.
Well, this is exactly what I sort of just said. He backed up. He let the speed go. He's not in whoever that is, the 5. He's not in that territory. So he's got a perfect spot. Now you can just swing him wide. Now you just swing him wide, and the race should be over.
Kyle, he's got 0. Verifying's in a good spot in second. Kyle also.
I mean, they're moving a little sooner than I would have expected with him, but.
Yeah,
Kyle, Verifying's in a good spot also. Your thoughts, Kyle?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely on that first turn, it really didn't look like he liked the kickback, but Saez got him outside, so he's running really well, just a little wide. I mean, they slowed it a little bit down, but yeah.
Kyle.
Yeah, they slowed it definitely down a little bit, but
and Blazing Sevens, by the way, is going to follow Tapit Trice, who's going to be 4 wide, but I don't think they care about that. They're on the turn. Verifying's about to take the lead. Tapit, it's going to be the 3 favorites. Tapit Trice is following, and Blazing Sevens is following him.
Yep, it's going to be
a favorite. Here comes Tapit Trice. Oh, Tapit Trice just decided to kick in. It's Verifying has the lead. Tapit Trice, Blazing Sevens. Tapit Trice takes the small lead. Verifying very game, fighting very hard. Verifying.
Wow.
Tapit Trice, they are neck and neck. Nose and nose. It's Verifying with the lead. Tapit Trice on the outside. Luis Saez is working. Tapit Trice, Verifying. Tapit Trice wins it. I want to watch the gallop out. Let's watch the gallop out. Hard to tell. Final time 150. Final time 150. Not really fast. Tapit Trice gets the job done.
I mean, that's a hell of a race from Verifying too, to be honest.
Verifying ran a big race.
This was 100% a practice for the Derby. He made the move on the backstretch that you have to make in the Derby. The move into the far turn. I was a little concerned about how much punch he'd have in the stretch because of that. And Verifying was a tough cookie, but he still won. The horse is a monster. He's a veritable monster.
I love it. Oh boy, I'm going to be a little. I'm not going to criticize him, but all right, let's break it down. First of all, here's what I really like about this, Paul. He showed a lot. For the first time, he was in a real battle, and he won the battle. You cannot take that away from Pete, because Verifying did run huge. I'm sure he switched. He was professional.
Yeah.
It was just, that's a horse race. They were about 4 or 5 clear of the rest of the field. Did Scooby run it all, Pete?
No, he did. He did nothing.
1, 3, 8, 7, I believe.
Scooby needs some more snacks.
Yeah, they didn't feed him right.
Guys, I had single pick 4 to Tapit Trice. I am just with the. This is one of those days when I'm gonna look back like could have been, if one little head bob could have been absolutely monstrous. Instead, I'm gonna have a losing day. 8-5 went off at 8-5. Paul, I'm excited too. I don't know why I'm not thrilled. I mean, I am excited, but I sort of expected him to draw off a little bit. But maybe Verifying is a pretty good horse too.
Well, he'll draw off when he gets that extra 1/8 of a mile in 4 weeks.
Okay. Now let's be fair. Okay. Let's break this down, Pete. It was a slow pace. I think that's why Tapit Trice moved early. You got to give a ton of credit to Saez, Pete, who realized they were going pretty slow in that second quarter. I think that second quarter was like 24-4, something really slow, Pete. And he moved Tapit Trice up. And maybe that's why.
There's an objection. Hold on.
Objection.
Oh, is there? Oh,
between,
no.
Between
I mean, I don't know.
Two.
I didn't see anything.
The top two?
Yep.
Yeah.
Between Gaffleone and Saez.
Oh,
yep.
boy. They're not. Okay.
Doesn't look like an inquiry, but it is objection. I don't know.
I mean, they didn't show any good. They didn't show a good angle there, though.
No, here we
go. Man,
if
I'm gonna lose my $60 pick 4. Damn it.
It's like 10 trips to McDonald's right there.
Wow.
Oh wait, here we go. Hold on.
They're showing it now.
Yep.
I'm trying to. Okay.
I don't see anything yet.
Yeah, what's happened? Nothing. They're not even close to each other.
Are we sure?
Okay,
it's
that's
on?
Verifying's contact right there. That's completely issued by Verifying in my.
Oh
eyes.
no, that's stupid. Yeah, that's not even close to anything.
So
it looks like Verifying came over.
Yeah, it's an objection by either.
Right now they're showing the gate. Okay, now they're just not showing it.
Okay, no, watching the head on. They were definitely in tight. Are they?
No, that's nothing.
It looks like Verifying came over though. No.
Verify definitely came over a path. Then this is completely mutual. This is
frivolous. Nothing. Is frivolous the word we're looking for here? Frivolous claim of.
Well, now they're showing the gate. I don't know why.
Tyler just wants the double, Paul. That's all he wants.
I don't know.
That call.
Really? Who is riding Verifying, guys?
Tyler, I think, right?
So it's either Tyler or
Tyler. Tomorrow's right? Easter. Big in church tomorrow, not today.
I'm sure. I mean, there's a bump, but I think it was Verifying initiated the contest.
No, that's nothing. I mean, that's not even worth time talking.
They didn't even look at Howard, the race you had Papilio that the horse took up drastically. They didn't even look at it.
Nope, absolutely not.
This, from what I see, guys, please comment in the chat. Do you think was there anything there? Is Tapit Trice possibly?
It's not even worth talking about, man.
What do you guys think in the chat? Please comment in the chat what you think. They look like they brushed together a little bit, but if anything, it looked like the 3 moved out into the 1 initially, and then Tapit Trice reacted a little bit to that. And it's
an uninteresting conversation, in all honesty.
They're objecting we
got to talk about the $1 million race, Pete. So we got
but nothing's going to happen. There's nothing there, so I don't even know what are we going to explain. Nothing happened.
They're objecting the same color saddle cloth is what they're objecting on.
Well, let's watch it again. We're watching the head on.
Good objection.
They come together a little bit. There's nothing there mid stretch.
Well, is this about Verifying needing the points maybe to get in?
Verifying came out. Into Tapit Trice,
and then
right? This happens all the time, guys. Here's what I'm trying to be honest about it, because I don't really care about my $60 pick 4. Verifying comes out a little bit into Tapit Trice, and Tapit Trice reacted, the horse, not the jock. The horse reacted to it and came in a little bit. This should be absolutely nothing. If this is taken down to be a complete travesty. And again, I don't really have any skin in the game in this particular race, in my opinion. Obviously, Pete, you agree because you said it's a ridiculous.
Yeah, I was not even going to waste my time talking about something that if they took it down, it would be objectionable. So I'm with you.
So you guys are watching the same thing I am on FanDuel. So there's nothing, and then, so right.
It's worth
Verifying
it.
goes out about 2 paths, and I mean,
I
don't
think
know.
you're right,
I guess
Paul.
if you have
Paul,
verifying, you can
it's
make a
worth the
case.
shot, right? Paul, it's worth the shot.
Verifying
Yeah,
with
it's always
second
worth a shot,
place
but-
puts him at 54, which should be good to get in. But this year, because of the 3 automatics, it's a little 54 should be good, but this
Jerry
could be
W says it's crazy. Tyler came out. I tend to agree, but Chris Couples has got the pick for $10. Nice job, Chris. That'll work for you.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, well, as we wait, Paul. So Tapit Trice had to be used. That's the closest he's been, except for his maiden win, in quite a while. And for people to say that he now has like tactical speed, I'm not sure that's true because it was a slow pace. So in the Derby, he's still going to be launching from way back. There's 2 things I really like. I like the fact that he took some dirt and he handled it okay. There was a point, Kyle, where I was a little worried before the first turn, but Saez did a masterful job, Paul, to get him to the outside. And I love the fight, Paul, because you have to have fight in the Derby, and that I liked a lot. And like we've talked about all along, Paul, he's only going to get better at 1.25 miles.
And there'll be no change, and Tyler should be ashamed of himself.
Wow.
But, no, really. I mean, Pete had the right outlook.
It just went official.
No change.
There should be some type of repercussions for making a claim when there's a 0% chance that he should be taken down.
It's like the flopping call, right, Paul? In basketball,
right.
It's like the flopping
call. Howard,
yeah.
I'll tell you, when we talked about it the other night, I'll be honest with you, the race went about as exactly as I thought it would. They had to break or get him in the race earlier, which Louis did. Pete called it live watching. He then took he wasn't going to go on with them to try to stay up with the speed, but mission accomplished. He made sure he didn't get pinned on the rail, took him back. And again, the thing I like the best is he made that run into the far turn. Now that run can start a little later in the Derby because there's another 1/8 of a mile. Yeah. But as I said after the last race, Howard, I'm not trading my ticket with anyone.
I don't know. I'm happy. I'm hoping to come out healthy. There are a lot of things I like. He might not have gotten I'd say that I'm just totally guessing. This track's really not that fast this weekend, by the way. So 150, I'm guessing it's the mid-90s. This is totally a guess on my part. Verifying ran a big race. I think a lot of people like Verifying this race. So it's not like that's the best horse he's beaten, Paul, by far. And I think Verifying is a pretty good horse and got a dream trip. Yep. The fact that it was a slow pace, Kyle, and that he had to rush up on the backstretch and still sustain, I think it's going to make this effort better than it's going to look by the number. Do you agree with that, Kyle, or am I just trying to search for something that's not there?
I don't think you're searching something that's not there. I mean, you saw just out of the gate. I mean, like you said, he did what he did. Saez was giving him the business, telling him get in the race. Then he pulls him out in the clear perfectly, gets up. But as Paul pointed out in the Derby, you need that type of move to be able to range up on the turn, especially when you're going to be coming from where Tapit Trice is going to be coming from in the first Saturday in May. So I thought it was a perfect ride by Saez, and I think Verifying is a good horse. So I think that just was a throwdown between the 2 best horses in the race, and the better horse came out on top.
I think that's very well said. There's a lot of comments in the chat, guys. Let's get to them. First of all, Chris Couples said that was a BS objection, so he agrees with you guys on that. So does Ross Blacker. Tyler's the one that claimed it was not Brad Cox. I'm watching the replay. I mean, for a second, guys, I thought Tapit was going to draw off, but it was too slow a pace. So Verifying held on. Ghost claim a foul from Phil Conti. Now, someone said, "Are you ready, Paul?" Because you might want to sit down for this, Paul. You might want to sit down. Hold on, I got to find it. Hold on a second. I know, where was that comment? Shoot, it was from Katie. Okay, I'll see if I can find it. It was
8-5, Howard. That ain't bad.
What's that?
8-5 is not bad.
No, not if you had a win bet on it. Okay, Paul, you sitting down?
Oh yeah, I found it. There it
is. Any thoughts for Katie?
Hey, look, it's a free country, and everyone has the right to be wrong.
I think, how about Chris Couples? Call him slow because of numbers and figs. A horse with that stride is dangerous. You do not want to deal with that in the stretch.
Let me ask you a question. In this crop, everyone, specifically Katie, who's a fast horse? I'll wait.
Hey, put it in the chat. I mean, by the numbers, Practical Move and Forte as of right now.
And they're what, 3 to 5 points ahead of him?
Correct. Yep.
At best,
Practical Move got 100, right?
He's still learning. And Howard, this is where I'm really glad they came to this race, because he's in Kentucky. He's, he'll probably be at Churchill Tuesday, and he can train up to the race right on that track. So all systems go, Howard.
50-cent pick 5 is $6.95, by the way, mainly anchored by that by the first race, the first leg. If Bad Beat Brian wins, who knows what the hell that pick 5 or many things, pick 4, any exotics. Matt Miller had a comment. I got to find it. We'll get to the San Antonio Derby, folks. We have 16 minutes. We're going to get to it. Matt Miller, it doesn't matter for the Derby. Our pal ate a shit ton of dirt, meaning Tapit Trice, got put into an uncomfortable spot, recovered well. He's talking about on the first turn where he sort of got to the outside, dealt with slow pace and closed great. Best case scenario for Derby purposes, I can't disagree. I mean, you can only do, Pete, you're a big proponent of this. You can only do what's in front of you. I guess my thought that he should have drawn off is negated by the fact they just didn't go that fast. So, I mean, it's hard to draw off when you don't go that fast early.
I mean, you could whatever opinion you have, you could make an argument either way. You could say it that way, or you could say, hey, he was chasing down Verifying, who was maybe going to be questionable at 1 1/8, and he barely could go by him. You could make the argument whichever way you lean. I think there's sort of logical arguments both ways. I mean, none of it matters, because you have to just see when you get in the Derby, if he gets shuffled back, depending on the post, if he's further back than that, you try and make that rush up move, it's going to take the sting out of his late kick, which maybe it did here a little bit, and that's why he didn't go by as easily. So, I mean, circumstance is 100% different. I don't, I'm the non-Tapit Trice guy. I don't like Tapit Trice in the Derby, so I hope you guys win, but he's not. I think, though, it's a slow crop, like Paul said. I think there's not anyone. I think anyone who runs their best race, there's 8 to 10 horses, I thought, have a shot with their best race to win the Derby this year.
Right at the wire, I agree with you. He's lumbering might be a little too strong a word, but I get it. He's a bit one-paced. He's very long-winded. He's not as handy. Right at the wire, I agree with you. And let me just make this very clear from the start, and we got a month to talk about it. If someone said, Howard, I'll give you $1 million, who are you going to pick? Who's your horse in the Derby? It's not Tapit Trice. Sorry, Paul. But if someone gave me $1 million and said, if you pick the winner of the Derby, you get $1 million, it wouldn't be Tapit Trice for all the reasons that I said. Obviously, when you pick a horse in late December into early January at 60 to 1, you're excited. Paul, depending on what happens with Practical Move, I think it's fair to say Tapit Trice is absolutely second or third choice now in the Derby.
Yeah, I want to know who you're picking with your $1 million that you're going to lose.
I probably Forte right now.
Okay, that's reasonable.
Well, I'm not losing it because I'm not betting.
Kyle, do you have any stock you could send over to his house quickly?
I can Hey, I'm on the way.
A little pepper on it.
Yep,
so guys, let's get in the San Antonio Derby. We really want to thank everyone for watching. Don't go anywhere. We got a lot of people watching. We're going to talk about the San Antonio Derby right now. We're going to bring up on screen. It's race 6. There's 12 minutes to post. Let's talk about the big story before the race. Go Rocket Ride scratches. Kyle, for like 5 reasons, I'm not happy about that.
Yeah, I mean, not only, does it negate his Derby chances, which, again, as was pointed out on Twitter, it just does not seem like Mandela can get a live, healthy horse in the gate. It really sucks, obviously, as Richard Mandela is such a great guy for the sport of horse racing. But it takes speed out of the race. It puts Practical Move, in my opinion, in an even better spot in this race than to have that threat of Go Rocket Ride out in front of him. I completely agree with you, Howard. And not only that, it completely lowers the price of, if you liked Practical Move in this spot, which I know you did, Howard, it brings down the price completely.
Well, Pete, I thought My top choice is Practical Move in this race. It's really nothing. There's nothing creative about it because I thought he'd sit a perfect trip off of National Treasure and Go Rocket Ride, and just he's probably the best horse. And by the way, he's been working unbelievably. And this is not Rich Strike. He's legitimately gained like A- workouts. Pete, now with Go Rocket Ride out, the two main speeds are both Yakteen. You got Practical Move and National Treasure, and it just feels like this is going to be a merry-go-round race and really boring. I know the 4's got speed, but the 4 has no business being in this race. Is in a complete no-hoper. My top choice was my second choice was Skinner, but boy, it seems like he's really going to be up against it now, Pete.
Yeah, there's not much. Yeah, it takes Skinner a little bit out of it unless one of the other horses. I mean, there is horses with speed, so you would need though somebody's going to have to test National Treasure because I can't imagine National Treasure is not going to be the speed now. So you're going to have someone up there with him for Skinner to have a chance. But I do think, yeah, I think it's going to wind up being National Treasure. Practical Move's going to attack him on the turn most likely, or wait just a touch, and then we're going to see what happens. I mean, I don't really like, I'm looking at it real quick now. I kind of remember there's no one else I Mandarin Hero, but Mandarin Hero also sits back from
6-1, Pete. He's taking some money.
Well, I mean, with Go Rocket Ride, the money has to go somewhere. With Go Rocket Ride out, there's not a lot of places for it to go. The Japanese horses are getting a bunch of buzz. This horse has a lot of ones on the sheet, which is always fun. And Kimura's, it's not like there's a foreign jockey like Kimura is known to the Santa Anita public at this point. So I think that makes sense. But I think this horse too could use a little bit of speed. This is not a front runner. At least from what I watched. I watched all of his races and they were all from off the pace, mid pack, some of them even a little further back. So I think he's going to want some pace as well. By the way, I have to drop for a second. I have to go.
Okay.
Some chicken nuggets are in the oven that I have to go pull out.
Okay, no problem.
So, stuff going on.
Paul, and your mic's off, Paul, just to let you know, but now it's back on. Paul, your thoughts about the Santa Anita Derby? You and I talked about this race at the midnight hour. Thinking, of course, Go Rocket Ride would be in this race. What do you think Practical Move's going to have the lead? Do you think 1 in a million I assume is going to go? Does Practical Move just sit off of the 4 and 6? Do they play the break? I mean, what do you think is going to happen here now, Paul?
I think the 6 might run a little better than he looks on paper. And he doesn't look bad on paper, but I think he might benefit a little bit from this 3 being out. It's going to be a tough call because if Practical Move romps this field going into the Derby, how much more do you know about him than you know about him right now? I mean, this race is uninteresting at best.
Yeah.
So,
Paul, I'm going to make a bold statement. Are you ready?
Yeah.
If Practical Move draws off and wins by 4, he's the favorite in the Derby.
Good. Good.
Kyle, do you have any opinion on that?
I mean, I could definitely see it, especially if he pulls, like 102, 103, 104 buyer out of this race. Absolutely. I mean, people are going to look at the figs, look at the races he's raced against, and definitely, I agree with you.
Yeah, and when you look at who he's raced against, that's where you might have a little pause.
Yeah,
PAUSE, not PAWS.
The one thing, though, I will say, and if Paul, just to remind people what I said on the show Thursday for our tape show, I said he's going to win this race and be overbet in the Derby. Here's the thing. With Go Rocket Ride, we're assuming out of the Derby now. There is the Lexington Stakes next week. I think the winner gets 20 points. But, Paul, you've been around horse racing a long time, as have I. When a horse has a fever, it's hard for me to believe they're going to ship him out 3 days later and run him a week later. They usually give a little bit of time, to recover off of a fever. So I'd be shocked if Go Rocket Ride goes to Keeneland next weekend for the Lexington and tries get in the Derby. There's not a lot of speed, at least on paper, in the Derby right now. That is a feather in Practical Move's cap. That he has a decent amount of speed in a race, at least right now, that doesn't have a lot of speed in it. I'm talking about the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, I think there'd be almost zero shot Mandela would ship a horse across the country coming off a fever to make his 3rd career start. We talked about Mandela, and Kyle mentioned this is really too bad because this is a guy who does not have DFS, Derby fever syndrome, and he only runs when he thinks they have a shot.
Yeah.
And it's really too bad. He lost Omaha Beach right on top of the race, and now he loses this guy who I picked on top. I thought this guy had a really good chance here. So yeah, I would not anticipate this horse being shipped out for for the Lexington at all.
Yeah. Skinner got a wide trip last time and it was a little bit goofy. I thought he was very live here. If Skinner wins this race, I'd be really impressed now based on what I see. National Treasure, Kyle. I bet him in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. I'm just going to flat out say it. This horse got a 97 buyer, guys, in October of his 2-year-old year.
Yep.
And he's bred off the hilt. Things is just not, he was just meh in the sham in January. Now he's had some, foot issues. He's working really well. This is a weird horse. Like, this horse could win this race and be a threat in the Derby, or Practical Move could blow by him, and Yakteen might send him to like the Preakness. I don't really know what to make of this horse, Kyle.
Yeah, I mean, look, this horse is the key factor of second-itis, at least after his maiden win, of course. It just doesn't, I mean, granted, he's run up against it, but that last race, as you guys touched on, losing the Reincarnate, who came back kind of in a really dud effort at Oaklawn, and then Newgate, obviously, who sadly has not continued to train due to injury. But I agree with you. I really just don't know what to make of this horse. Really fast figs is working really well. To your point, where who's going to get the lead, I think National Treasure is going to go. Practical Move is probably going to sit right off. It just depends on I mean, I shouldn't say cheap because it sounds mean to the connections and stuff like that, but they don't deserve to be in this race, as you touched on. I think I just don't know what to do with him. I'm in agreement with you, but I'm not playing him this race. I think Practical Move sits a really good nice trip.
Yeah, I think so. By the way, the 11 is about to win an Aqueduct, Pete.
Mm-hmm.
And Paul,
that was our horse, Paul, right?
Yep.
That was the horse that you guys put me onto, and I mean, it doesn't matter because I'm out of it now, but good call on the 11. If you watch the show, Pete and Paul were on that horse, and I was against. That's the Jorge Brady with Turf Sprinter is really good. I know we're digressing, but anyway, the wood will be coming up. What is it next? Is it?
Yeah, it's next. Yeah.
It is next. Okay, maybe we'll stick around. I don't know.
Hey, Paul, are you live to anything in the wood?
I am not, Pete. I did not have that doppelganger.
I'm live to 4 horses in the wood for the pick 4. So I assume it'll pay decent, especially with the doppelganger on the front end. Yeah,
that's real good, Pete. Are you kidding me with doppelganger?
And especially when we get Croupy home, Howard, in the wood, then it'll pay. Then there'll be balloons.
Good old Croupy. Well, now that I hit my $60 pick 4 at Keeneland, now I got money to bet Croupy. All right, guys, how much time do we have left here? Let's go full screen
4.
here. 4 minutes left to the San Diego Derby. They're on the track right now. A guess, Paul, on the buyer for Tapit Trice? I say mid-90s. Just a guess.
Yeah, I'm going to say the race was a little slow. Probably 93, 94.
I had this on my chest. 95 is what I had.
I'm trying to think of the Keeneland races. Like, I don't recall seeing real fast fractions today. I mean,
that race was slow. 48. I mean, he's still, even though he was closer than usual, he's still closing from 6th into a 48 half mile. That race was slow.
You know what? I bet, other than his final quarter, I bet his second quarter was his fastest quarter.
Yeah, when the mid move on the backstretch, yeah, that could definitely be possible.
I bet his third quarter was like 22 and change, or 23, somewhere around there. Christine Race, I think did that 3 bomb horse I talked about on the show finish 3rd at Aqueduct?
Oh, was that Charisse? Oh,
yes. The Charisse finished
Howard,
3rd.
why didn't I play that race?
No. The 6. It was Snowy Evening.
Oh, Snowy Evening. That's not a horse I tipped out. I did thought Charisse Charisse had a little bit of trouble and did close, but I don't think.
Snowy Evening ran 2nd at 30.
Oh, okay. Christine Race mentioned one of my Aqueduct plays that it was not Snowy Evening, so no. Unless the 3 ran. I don't know. I'm trying to look up right now.
No, I'm looking at the top 4 are up now.
Okay.
That was Aqueduct she was talking about, right? Yeah, no.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Pete, you're going to be alive to some real nice pick 4s.
Yeah, I hope so. And I have 2 potential prices.
Well, it's 2 chalks. Maybe not quite as good, but it depends on who you have. With Croupy, it's going to pay for sure.
I have Croupy and I have the 11 Classic Catch, who should be, a decent price.
You have who else do you have? Hit Show.
I have Slip Mahoney, Hit Show, Classic Catch, and Croupy.
Okay. No Dreamlike from the inside.
No, that one's going to have to beat me.
All right. Guys, let's go back to the any other thoughts? By the way, Mendelson March, my blurry. There we go. Mendelson March, I don't know.
Hold on, I'll check.
I didn't see where I was focusing on Tapit Trice, obviously. Any other thoughts in the San Diego Derby from any of you guys? It's not the most exciting race now, unfortunately. I just don't know what to say. I don't want to make up some bullshit here. Low expectations could show speed from the outside. I suppose he finished second in a very weird and slow Sunland Derby, and now is wheeling back in like 2 weeks. I don't know. I'm honestly, guys, I'm expecting this to be a practical move show.
I agree.
You're
good.
If he does not win this race, guys, and doesn't do it well, he's definitely not a play for me in the Derby. I'm already against him a bit, Paul, because of who he's beaten. He's got 2 dream trips. Practical move for me has to win this race by at least 2 lengths for me to even consider him to win the Derby. That's just my opinion.
The excitement is seeing him go 1 1/8 because he's still a practical joke horse, and no matter how well he's training, we still want to see him go the 1 1/8 before you can expect him to get the 1 1/4. So.
Yep.
There is good breeding on the dam side, though, Pete. He's out of
there is, I think so.
He's out of an Fleet Alex mare, Act Naughty, who was a turf horse, but a distance turf horse. So there's definitely breeding on the dam side.
Yeah, it's there, but you still have to see. You still want to see it because if it just doesn't show up today,
bred by Chad Brown, by the way, Paul. If you don't recall, with practical move, how about that?
But he had that. But he wished he had them as long as he runs well here. But he wished he still had it.
Let's see. Roshan saying Paul's looking good with the 60-1 future on Tapit Trice.
Chopped liver.
I don't want to sound like a broken record, Paul, but number one, we don't care what odds he's going to be in this coming Derby. And number two, when you make a bet in January, you just want the horse in the starting gate. We're going to have a horse that's going to be second or third choice in the Derby, whether people think he can win or not. It was a positive play. I don't know if it's going to work out. Who knows? It's hard to win the Derby. He might finish 8th, but we're in the starting gate with a real nice horse, Paul. Okay.
Paul,
you know what? You've been
I like Paul's confidence.
So I would like you to keep being negative.
I'm not negative. I just his
you have been negative.
Paul, do we need to play the clip on him picking against your horse on our Thursday show? I mean, that says it all to me right there. That says it all.
Pete, all I know is one of us made a big win bet on him and one of us didn't.
I mean, that's all. I'm
ecstatic for you, Paul. I mean, I'm a gambler, guys. I just,
all he does is win.
I won't mention that I told him the horse that he actually cheated on his horse with was a piece of crap anyway. So, but that, that's neither here nor there, Paul. We're not going to worry about that today. Yeah,
forget about it.
I'd bring up someone's mistake with a pick 5, but I don't want to get him upset on live YouTube. So, based on a text that I got earlier today.
The funny thing was,
I love you, Pete. I got mad.
No. The funny thing was, I told these guys that I had the horse marked as an A, and then wound up having it as a C in my. But I wound up not playing an ABC ticket anyway, so it didn't cost me. But yeah, my stupidity knows no bounds. I think any viewer who's watched this show should have figured that out by now.
Paul, we can't agree that we still want this horse to get an outside post in the Derby, right? Like, I don't care if he gets the 20 hole. That'd be fine with me.
Yeah. We want today to be the end of the 1-hole experiment.
Yes, I agree. All right, they are approaching the gate at the San Anita Derby. You've got at 4 to 5, practical move. National Treasure 5 to 2. You've got the 7 horse is 5 to 1. Skinner, Mandarin Hero at 7 to 1. The 8 horse. Everyone else is a bomb. We'll see. I think we're going to see an impressive effort. But again, this field is just, I guess, someone was at Pete, like none of these fields felt like they've been that great. I don't know.
Well, that's what when somebody makes the comment of so-and-so didn't beat, I'm like, which one of these preps did anyone really beat anybody? They're pretty much after every one we talk about, or before everyone, we talk about how top heavy the races are. So you're like, nobody's really beaten more than 1 or 2 good horses in any of these preps, it feels like.
Yep.
This was the one that was looking good, and then with Go Rocket Ride out, it took a little bit of luster out, and because the second choice is a question mark. So, and the third choice has got to come off the pace, and the fourth choice has never run in the country. So, this is a little questionable here.
All right, they are about to finish their load in the starting gate for the Grade 1 Santa Anita Derby. You know what? I'm cheering for this Japanese horse, guys. What the hell? I think that'd be sort of cool. I don't know. Here we go.
Japan.
There goes low expectations. They are in the gate for the Santa Anita Derby. A little bit of crowding and bumping in the middle. Low expectations is being sent on the outside.
Oh, they're both going to sit.
1 over a million. They look like they're going pretty fast, guys. 1 over a million has the lead.
Everybody's going to
low expectations second. Practical Move is going to get another perfect inside stalking trip, guys. But listen, he's tactical, so that's what these horses do.
I mean, yeah, at some point it's not a negative. Some point it's just he's good at what he does, and he can work out a trip at some point.
Well, look at the Arcteens going against each other right now. Now they're just National Treasure's hustling him and just trying to hold the 5 right now. He's got a strangle.
Yeah, that 5 he's choking him.
This is legitimate. The Japanese horse looks like he's got some run too, by the way. You still got
his run.
Bombs,
This
first and
is
second.
his run.
You got the Yakteens are in third and fourth. Practical Moves come up the inside, guys. This could be dicey.
He's just going to spend it.
Gotta be careful of Skinner here, folks.
Skinner's going to get a clear run on the outside.
He's still got a stranglehold on the 5.
He's got a stranglehold. 46.3. If Practical gets through on the inside, he might win by 10, guys.
Yeah, and there he goes.
I don't know. The Mandarin Hero's got some. He looks like he might have a little kick. Skinner. There you go, Paul. Paul Skinner's sweeping him.
Skinner's going to try to swoop on the
outside.
He's already
full out,
Practical Move hasn't asked, though, yet.
Yeah, he's not. He's riding him like he's running
goggles.
backwards.
Pull the goggles.
Oh, no, he's going to shut off the Japanese horse on the inside. Oh, nope, he's got nothing.
Mandarin Hero's got a huge shot.
Yep.
Practical Move, Mandarin Hero with a fantastic ride by Kimura.
Oh, my God, this looks slow to me, no?
The Japanese horse is going to get him, I think.
Nope.
No. Practical Move.
And I will play against that horse all day, every day, and twice on Sunday.
Mandarin Hero ran huge.
Yeah.
148.69. Again, obviously, it's a fast track in Santa Anita. What a tremendous race, guys.
I actually thought that was almost a little bit. I didn't like the ride at first from Kimura because I was like, why isn't he just following Practical Move? But he sort of stayed back. I feel like if he would have followed him at sort of the same pace, he maybe would have had an easier shot to go by. But he at least got he's still got a rail saving trip. But
as long as 50
Mandarin
points
Hero
get in.
Mandarin Hero ran the best race. They're watching we're going to, you guys want to talk. They're showing on FanDuel right now.
We say that, but
Well, I don't know. We'll find out here. I mean,
he had no excuse though. I mean, he should have went by. I thought Mandarin Hero.
I don't know. Let's see what happened here. I mean, Practical Move, great ride. I understand, Paul, why Vasquez waited. Boy, that was in tight. What a move by Vasquez up the inside. Mandarin Hero just followed. The reason why Vasquez didn't ask is he was just waiting. He wanted to conserve energy. We're just watching the replay here.
And I mean, National Treasure again, just not really firing at all.
Not very good. I want to see if Skinner and Mandarin Hero they were bumping there a little bit. And then, I mean, I don't know about no excuse there, Pete, but they both ran big and Skinner ran big.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying there was no.
Is there going to be an inquiry? Practical Move came out just a fraction. I don't think they're going to look at it, but
calm down, Tyler.
That was, I'll tell you what, of all,
good
that
one,
was
Jake,
very, we've seen very exciting prep races.
Good races,
today,
yeah.
For sure. Initial thoughts, Pete, on the Santa Anita Derby?
I don't know. I'm not sure you learned. I don't know if what we learned necessarily. Was that a good, tough race by Practical Move? Was Mandarin Hero pretty good, or should Mandarin Hero have gone by and Practical Move that the extra eighth we're going to get in the Derby? He's not going to be able to hold like that, and he's not going to get as easy of a trip as it was quick, but actually it wasn't quick. And if you look at let me see. I don't know. It turns me off Practical Move. I would have wanted to see him sort of sit off and blow by.
Right at the wire has this nailed, Howard. Just put his comment up.
Well, I will. Chris Couple said Mandarin Hero just took the best West Coast horses coming from a B circuit in Japan. But the horse that won the Dubai World Cup also came from that B circuit. So maybe the Japanese are just better than we give them credit for. But that was a pretty legitimate time. I don't want to take anything away from Practical Move. I just think those other two ran big races. You want to show this one, Paul?
Yeah, and I think
Paul.
And I think that's being kind.
Wow.
And there've been many years. There've been many years where, the Baffert wagon has rolled in. But I would agree with right at the wire. I will have no trouble sleeping tonight knowing that Tapit Trice has to beat Practical Move in 4 weeks.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm not as negative as you guys are, but okay.
I mean, he's not.
You're only negative on the horse we have at 60-1.
I'm not negative. I have small concern.
Pete, you think this is easy, Pete, right?
I mean, I don't envy you being in the same boat with Howard for these next however many 5 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever.
Just for the record, we love you. Paul and I are all good. It's just.
So Paul, I think I'm with you though. I'm with you though, Paul. To me, I toss Practical Joke is off my top line now. Where he would have ran impressively. Yeah, he's not. I don't think he's winning the Derby. I don't.
What about that race that you're so much against?
Because I think there's going to be better horses trying to run him down, and I think that extra 8 he's not going to be able to hold.
Okay,
that's
my only negative is for the third race in a row, Kyle.
Yep.
Practical Move. I know he's got tactical speed, and that's part of the reason. Has gotten dream trips up the inside. Like, I don't think this horse has ever lost ground ever.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe that's credit to the horse and the jockey, but like at some point he's gonna be 4 or 5 wide. It could be very well in the Derby for sure.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it depends on what post this horse gets, but with tactical speed, that's the one plus that this horse has, right? Is that he has the ability to work out that good trip, especially in the Derby, where you need to be a little more forward in a race like that, where there's so many horses that you're going to be competing with. That's the one plus this horse has. It just doesn't. But as you guys talked about before the race, really, who has beat anybody in this race? And maybe that Japan horse is just really good. Skinner ran huge, and again, as long as 50 points gets you in the Derby, we're going to see 2 Japanese horses in the Kentucky Derby, which will be a pretty cool sight to see.
That's gonna be another 100 buyer, guys.
We might have 3, right?
Move's gonna have 2 100 buyers.
Oh no, yeah, you're right. I'm.
Continua got in off the Japanese road to the Derby.
Yeah, he goes,
right.
Is he going? Is he still going?
I believe he is.
He's here.
Well, I'm not sure about him. The other guy's already over there.
No, I think Continuar is here as well, from what I thought I read somewhere.
You know what? I'm just thinking about these Japanese horses. I mean, I don't know until they do it, but they're going to do it at some point.
And they're all training really well.
If we're so much against everyone except Tapit Trice, or at least Paul and I, or at least Paul, why can't Dermo Sadagake win this year's Derby? Like, I mean,
honestly, on the show, you're the sort of the most negative on Dermo Sadagake, though.
I have been, but
I think
only because I haven't spoken about him. People.
Okay. I mean, I just don't think this crop is good enough to say a certain horse doesn't have a shot if they're talented, because I just don't think the crop is anything special. So I think you catch any of them and they have a good day and they get a good trip. I think any of them, like I said, when you asked last week, Howard, you mentioned how many. I had like 8 to 10. I don't think it's that different. Kyle, what you were just talking about, though, I think like Practical Move is the kind of horse that's going to have the lead potentially in the lane, though, right?
Yep.
If you have my cousin was just texting me. I think he bet Practical Move at like 80-something to 1. So again, you're in the gate with a horse that's in shape, and you have him at 80-something to 1. So, but he feels like the type of horse that might get the lead. But I think there's enough horses to run him down. I
mean, with the running style, of course, right? Especially when you got Forte and Tapit Trice and everyone else, who generally are probably going to be behind this horse in the pace complexion.
First run.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So this horse could definitely be the horse to have the lead at the top of the stretch at the first Saturday in May.
Yeah.
Where is the high quality speed in this Derby going to come from? We've got a month to talk about it.
Well, shit, Go Rocket Ride was supposed to be part of the speed, and he might not even be there.
I mean, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. And, last year we know what happened last year.
Yeah.
Just because there's not a lot of speed on paper doesn't mean, Paul, it's not going to be a fast pace in the Derby, right? I mean, they all see that. And then you got 3 or 4 or 5 that go, right?
Exactly. That's exactly right.
And I mean, it could be trainer notes where they look at and they're like, oh, there's who's gonna go. So you just tell them to send. If that's the horse is tactical, you think you can just run to the lead, and then all of a sudden 4 trainers say it, and then you got a massive speed duel up front.
Well, you don't want to be the horses that are stuck in the back.
Right.
So you may send just to say, hey, we got to get out a little bit and make some room, and then you go a little further or a little, and nobody else goes, and you're like, holy crap, I'm on the lead in the Derby. What the hell am I doing?
Yep.
Jim, that's absolutely true. But they were completely different races. It was a fast pace at Santa Anita. It was a slow pace at Keeneland, and Santa Anita's track is faster, obviously. So. I don't know. I think it's gonna be another 100 buyer. I listen. We all know there's a lot of bad money betting the Derby, and there's no way anyone's gonna be 60 to 1 probably ever again. At least not in the next 10 or 15 years. I think Practical Move is gonna take a lot of money, guys. People are gonna see ones. They're gonna see 100. They're gonna see California. I don't know who's gonna be. I still think Forte is gonna be the top choice. I think I think Practical Move and Tapit Trice are going to be both around 9 to 2, 5 to 1. I think Forte is going to be 3 to 1. Thoughts?
I mean, I think
Not far off. Yeah.
I think you might even be able to go shorter on Forte, maybe 5 to 2 even. It's getting dicey, but just based on recognition alone and people, and like you said, the money with that they know is the 2-year-old champion. I mean, it could get down to 5 to 2 for sure.
Ross Blacker,
Mattress Mac money.
Yeah, throw $5 million on the horse, and the next thing you know, the horse is 2 to 1. So.
Yeah,
guys, we got 17 minutes to the wood. We got a lot of people watching. I might as well stick around. I think we should take a quick break though and come back to take a deep breath here. Let's do one other thing before we do that, Pete. Can you bring up your top 10, Pete, that you even put up on Twitter on your computer? Can you pull that up?
Yeah, give me 1 second. Let me just bring up the...
Pete Visco has been putting out his personal top 10. I think that'd be a good thing to show right now, Pete, and get your opinion on where they're going to move with your final top 10. I'm assuming that's going to be next week.
Yeah.
Of course, we still have the woods. I mean, we got to take that into account. But I think you can actually pull it up yourself, right, Pete, or no?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. So Pete's gonna find in his many files. Kyle, they sort of emptied the tank there. There we go. You have it, Pete, or I have to bring it up? Maybe.
It's Oh wait, do you have to bring it on the screen?
No, you just gotta
bring it up. I think I actually have to bring it up.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I can't bring it up. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, move that. There you go.
There we go. Okay,
yeah,
like we can see that. I cannot make that bigger, Pete. That's all going to be on you there.
Yeah, I'm making it bigger. Well, I have to make it a little bigger. Hold on, it's.
Let's see if we can make it even. We don't have to see the whole top 10. We can just or can you get rid of the stuff on the top? Just take I do that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. There.
Where's the?
Oh no, I'm talking about the toolbar.
Oh, this? No, that's
bottom.
Fine. We could see it. We're good.
Okay. All right.
Because I'm snitching back and forth a little bit.
Okay, no worries. So, Pete, you have full control over this. This was before this weekend. You had Forte, Practical Move, Tapit Trice 1, 2, 3. Let's talk about off the top, based on what you saw this weekend. Do those top 3? Does the order change for those top 3?
For me, probably I would. God, I'm ready to. I like Angel of Empire is my horse, so I'm ready to put him in the up to 2 at this point. But I think I don't think you can move Practical. I never really liked Practical Move to win the Derby, but I felt like based on performance and what he had done, it was hard not to have him sort of near the top. So these weren't as much personal like, hey, here's how I would bet the Derby. It was, hey, here's how I think based on performance, how they sort of should be ranked. So I feel like Practical Move can't go much further down. And I mean, Tapit Trice was good, but wasn't great. So it's not like he's going to leapfrog, necessarily. I think that's probably a stylistic difference between Practical Move and Tapit Trice, depending on which one you like better. King's Barnes, we talked about, we talk about no speed. King's Barnes, what if he just gets on the top and can back it down a little bit and he's talented enough to maybe take it around. So I don't know. It's tough. What do you guys think? What
Pete,
would you
Pete, you didn't really answer the question. I said I wanted to see what your order is, and you said, I think you're done for maybe 2, but I can't.
Well, because I usually have to think about it, and I don't
right.
really. So my order is Forte. Okay, fuck it. My order
Yeah,
is
exactly, Pete. Just
Forte, Angel of Empire, Tapit Trice, King's Barnes, Practical Move. How's that?
Wow, King's Barnes ahead of Practical Move.
Just from the maybe the loans. I don't know if I wouldn't bet King's Barnes probably in the Derby, but maybe I think he's going to take some negative looking because he had such an easy, slow lead in the Louisiana Derby. That doesn't mean he has to do that. So
you want to scroll down a little more and mention anyone else? You've got people can't read that, so he's got 2 fills 6, Confidence Game 7, Mage 8, Hit Show. If Hit Show wins, let's say somewhat impressively, how high in theory would you put him?
If Hit Show wins, I still don't think he probably would jump to, what are we looking at? 6 maybe, because Confidence Game is just the unknown because we haven't seen him since he ran. Mage was impressive. So, but I think if Hit Show wins again and he is impressive and he wins at this distance, then I think he has to move ahead of him. And 2 fills, the question mark is was the blow up just on the synthetic. So I would probably move Hit Show if he's super impressive, maybe up to 6, but I don't think I would go necessarily higher than that.
Okay. I mean, it's tough. Let's go around. Kyle, what's your thoughts? Give me your top again. We'll actually, let's talk about the wood, guys. We after the wood,
very good.
Revisit would be done. And if any of you guys have to go, by the way, or whatever, feel free. We're gonna end the show, guys, right after the wood is over. So thanks for sticking around. We got a lot of people watching still. The wood is in 11 minutes. Let me go ahead and bring up the PPs. I wasn't planning on it, so give me a second. Paul, your thoughts on the wood? Obviously, we talked about this race.
Big mute.
I'm going to take a shot with Slip Mahoney. And Pete, if you could hit the pick 4 without Hit Show, you're looking at good numbers, by the way.
The 9 and the 11 are nice, Paul. I'll take it.
And the 5's not bad either.
The 5's not bad, but that 9 and 11 are juicy. I'll take those.
But yeah, I'm going to take a shot on a dry track with Slip Mahoney. Hit Show's the best horse, but tough post. I don't have a strong feeling on the race. I picked him 3rd. I'm going to try to get the 5 home, and I'm going to stick in there one more race with Arctic Arrogance that no one else likes. So,
Pete, you are alive. Some nice pick 4s here for sure. You got to beat Hit Show. I mean, Hit Show's 200, 208. Nothing wrong with that.
It
take
wins
it, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I spent probably. I think the ABC grid was probably about 150. So it's not. I'd rather, but at least it's not. It's better than ripping it up, as we said.
Hit Show got a perfect trip last time, but has a lot of upside. He's got a workout trip from the outside. Sounds a little Forte-ish, Pete.
Yeah, he's another one though. We haven't seen enough of him in higher level company, so you just don't know a ton about him. And that Withers, it's not like the Withers has come back strong. I'm trying to think. I mean, whatever you feel about Arctic Arrogance, I mean, I don't think any of us really like him that much. Anyone behind Hit Show hasn't come back and really done much of anything. So I think he's still a bit of an unknown, and that's the way I've been sort of treating him in my mind. I mean, he lost the Confidence Game in that optional claimer, and Confidence Game ran well after that, and Rocket Can has been okay. But I think, again, Hit Show, he just doesn't have it against the top level of company. So we're going to see here. And it's not like this is the greatest field, but at least there's some adversity with the post. It's a big field. There's a couple good horses in it. So I think we'll learn something from him about him for sure.
Kyle, we haven't really heard from you with this wood because you were not part of our, of course, Aqueduct show. Who's your top 3, Kyle, and how do you see this race?
Oh man, I would absolutely love if Hit Show won this race. I'm Hit Show. I haven't put it out there at all. Actually, I have a Hit Show future at 50-1 going into the Derby. So if Hit Show can at least get second, he will be in the Derby. I just want him to be in the gate. Obviously, he had, like as Pete pointed out, I completely agree with you. He has to prove it against better company, but. Once I saw the 13, Howard, I know obviously you saw the one for Tapit Trice and weren't happy. I saw the 13. I was like, I was just hoping for a good post, and of course I get thrown into the parking lot. But
yeah,
this horse definitely has the talent and the upside, as you pointed out. Just gonna have to prove it and work out a trip from the outside. Manny Franco is obviously the one guy, if obviously Dylan Davis, but the one guy that I would want to work out a trip from out there. I'm going 13-1-5. So again, not very creative here. I had to stick with my guy Hit Show. The one Dreamlike from the rail has a lot of upside for Pletcher. Obviously gets Jose and puts the blinkers on to probably keep him just a little more focused. It seems like, especially with that last race, if you watch the replay, just kind of it seems like he gets a little unfocused, I guess is the word I'd put it. Just could not get past Empire Strikes Fast. So I'm assuming that's probably what they're going to go for. And I think the 5s are extremely interesting. And I know that Paul really likes the 5. So that's my top 3.
I'm expecting the 5 to show a lot more pace. That last time he didn't break well, and it was a really weird race we talked about on the show, Paul. I think Slip Mahoney's going to show more speed. There's a lot of Tapit Trice connections here because Slip Mahoney was battling with Tapit Trice in his second start. And then Dreamlike has been working often with Tapit Trice, not in the most recent work, but often. My only issue with Dreamlike, Kyle, is he lost to a maiden last time, albeit a very talented maiden, but it sort of feels like he should have got the job done last time. Does put the blinks on. It's Rapoli, it's Elias. 3-1 seems a little low to me, but it's with the connections, right? Pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, you're betting Rapoli, Pletcher, and Ortiz. I mean, granted, it's Jose, but still, I mean, you're betting the connections. The horse is a 91 buyer in his last race, which I believe is even with Hit Show, if I'm remembering correctly. It is. So, yeah, they both ran 91s. Obviously, the horse is still a maiden, but you're betting on the connections to throw him in basically to the wolves at this point that this horse would be ready.
Any horse, Pete, that you're worried about everyone, Pete, but who are the top 2 horses you don't have that you're worried about?
The ones that I don't have I don't have Dreamlike, and if Dreamlike does take a move forward, then that would be a tough one. Otherwise, no one I'm necessarily worried about because I basically think I have 4 of the top 5, obviously, and odds wise, that's not far off. I liked Uncle Jake scared me a little bit. I think there were some things that I liked about this horse, but it was more of a potential underneath horse at a 23-1 shot. So no, I'm not. It's not scared as much as Arctic Arrogance. I just never liked that horse. I just didn't think that horse can hold. He's good though. He holds. He's tough. He's game, but I don't feel like he'd be the one who could hold off this field.
No, I agree.
So. Yeah, I'm just scrolling through it.
I don't think he's best at 1 1/8 either. I know he ran a real good race in the Remsen, but it was a slow final quarter, and it was just not a real strong race. WNL has done nothing since he won that race. So the 89.
Lugan Knight didn't run well at all. The other one was that Friday, I think. That was in the sprint, but yeah, you feel like unless just somebody just comes out of nowhere and wins this race, I feel like at least from a betting standpoint, I'm in pretty good shape. But I think, Kyle, you have to be happy with Hitchhiker. He's one of, I think there are 2 horses in here who have run and won at 1 1/8.
That's correct,
right? Is it
it's
just
them and
Classic Catch?
Yeah.
So, I mean, and Hit Show did it pretty impressively regardless. Like we always say that if you're going to run against a field that's not that great, if you beat them impressively, then you did your job. So I think he did that in the Withers.
Yeah. I mean, I completely agree. And like I said, the only thing I'm worried about is, I mean, I can't believe I'm saying I'm worried about him, a maiden in a race like this, but that horse has a lot of upside, and obviously he has to navigate from the outside, but I'm definitely happy with Hit Show being in a spot like this. And he already has points. So realistically, you just need to get second to be in the gate.
Yeah.
Krupe is a price play, spot play for us on the power picks. I'm just looking over our power picks right now. And just for people who are not familiar with our power picks, look down below the video player for information on that as I go ahead and bring us back on screen. Pete, what taught you your 4 horses? I always like to do this for fun because I'm a math teacher. Forget about the exact mathematical odds. As I look at our power picks and give people some information on that, what % chance do you give yourself to hit this pick 4?
To hit the pick 4, I would assume pretty high. I would say probably 75%, maybe, if not higher
Okay.
to hit it, but not to hit it happily. So yeah, hit show would be
Okay.
hit show would be fine because you're not ripping the ticket up and you win a couple bucks. But I'd rather Crouppy or Classic Catch, which are paying 2,500 and 2,600, would be pretty nice for a last. It was, and the worst part is it was a last second pick 4 because I missed the first leg because I was upstairs with the family and I was putting the bet in. So I actually would have had the pick 5, I think, which is, what is that paying?
I don't know. Good.
That's paying relatively lovely. So it's actually a 1, 2, right? Who on the 7th? Oh yeah, New Guinea. So I definitely had that horse. So I had it on Ticket Maker. I had the ticket there, but I needed to deposit and it was just sitting, and then I got distracted and didn't put it in.
Dang family. The power picks, I touted out Collaboration, who finished a very good second. I think it was 6 or 7 to 1. Candle ran a decent third. She was slightly disappointing, but it was a weird pace situation. And then Crouppy, we've touted. I'm just looking at Keeneland for who we touted at Keeneland. Give me a second. Run Classic, who was he bad.
Yeah,
it was fractious in the gate. He just never looked good at any point, even when he took the lead. I'm like, this horse is winning. Papilio was a real nice score for us on the power picks. Mr. Didn't work out too well. And then I also touted out Skinner, who ran a very close third in the Derby. Dicey Mochara, a very close second. And I got a bomb in race 11, Clickish, who's 20-1 morning line in the San Anita Oaks. So only one winner on the power picks as of right now. Could be 2 with Crouppy. But again, a lot of close second and thirds with some bigger prices. People can make a lot of money, Kyle, off that if they use them underneath those horses.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not, these power picks, the spot plays, Howard just doesn't give out like them to win. He has bets on there that a lot of them are given underneath and stuff like that. So if you play those bets, and even if they run second and third, you can still cash a pretty nice ticket depending on who beats them.
Paul, Crouppy is 16 to 1 right now. A lot of things has to go his way. But I mentioned, Paul, this is sort of like Bourbonic 2.0 to me. If they go quick up front, I don't know what they're going to do. This is the best closer in a race that just is very meh to me, other than Hit Show.
And, you get Pletcher, who wins this race, even when he doesn't have the top horse.
And Carmouche.
As we found out with Bourbonic, right? That was, by the way, up to that point, the slowest running of the Wood ever by a second and a half.
Has it finished yet? I think they're still running that race.
Wow.
No? Okay. Was it 154 or some insane? The track was very slow that day, though. I do remember the track.
That whole weekend, yeah. The track was very deep.
All right, they're entering or about to enter the gate. It's a huge field. Pete Visco, good luck, man. We're cheering for the 9 or the 11 for Pete Visco. Selfishly, I'd love to see the 9 win, not only for Pete, but
or the 5. We'll take the 5 too.
We'll take the 5 also. I've got just full disclosure to everyone. I got a small win bet on Crouppy, and then I have a weighted trifecta. So I have the smallest dollar amount with Crouppy on top, a bigger in second, and a biggest in third. So I've sort of laddered it that way, guys, where I think he's most likely to finish third, then second, then first. I have to have the right horses on top, but this is the reverse key play that I've talked about. So I do need one of the chalks to win if Crouppy doesn't win. Classic Catch is 10 to 1, by the way, Pete.
He's an impressive horse. He just needs to, he's another one who just maybe needs a little seasoning. We're getting a class move up here. He's never faced anyone. He beat Crouppy 3 back in the maiden at a mile and 1/8. Classic Catch has 2 wins at a mile and 1/8, which is odd for your first 4 races. You don't usually get a ton of mile and 1/8 races that early in your career. So
right at the wire, I don't disagree with you. I think you can use just about anyone. I think there are some that look really impossible here. They're about to go in the gate. Final thoughts, Kyle or Paul, on the Wood Memorial?
I would love Hit Show to win. I apologize if that ruins your guys' payouts. I would love to see Hit Show draw off and win. Hopefully
good luck, Kyle.
We
want you to have a future in the
Derby. Slip Mahoney would be cool. Obviously as a price, Slip Mahoney would be nice too.
Pete, I'm going to be pretty quiet in the stretch. I'll let you do all the cheering because you have the most on the line by far. It's the Wood Memorial from Aqueduct. Here we go.
Let's just have my top four just being the only four in the stretch, and then I don't have to.
That sounds good.
And I don't have to sweat too much, and I could just be mad at the price as opposed to
you want a fast pace, right? I mean, your best horses are close.
Yeah,
right?
because if you want the 9 has no shot otherwise. Croupi has no shot otherwise unless the pace. Basically, we need for Croupi. I think we need the whole race to fall apart. No, I mean that's
the last major Kentucky Derby prep is about to begin. It's the Wood Memorial from Aqueduct.
As long as Hit Show doesn't get thrown into the parking lot in the first turn, he's gonna have a shot.
He'd be thrown into the casino. Actually,
yeah.
He's acting up a little bit in the gate, but
he's gonna be in the parking lot. God damn it! I can already see it with the 10 and the 9.
There he goes. My 2, second to last and last.
How many wide? How many wide? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wide. Just clear him.
Oh boy, there's a lot of.
The 5 got steadied. Slip Mahoney got steadied there pretty bad.
Yeah, of course.
I don't think they're flying.
Who the hell is this?
Who is this making a move?
It's the 10, Uncle Jake.
Oh, that's my horse that I left. He was like a C for me. Okay. I was scared of that horse.
Out of the 13 hole, I'll take where he was. That's fine.
I like this though. We want this, right? We
definitely want this beaten. They are moving now. It's 24-4. Wow, very slow first quarter.
Very slow. We need the second quarter to speed up.
I hate to say it, Pete, but Dreamlike is sitting a Dreamlike trap. It's say
it's unbelievable.
The
5 got whacked around.
Oh, don't you do that?
Croupi's almost off the screen at this point, so it's fantastic.
49. What is going on?
God, this is awful. Arctic Arrogance, because I just said he can't hold, is going to wind up.
Still got Arctic Arrogance on the lead. Hit Show is now starting to make a move.
Who the hell is running with me?
Who's running with Hit Show? Is that the
Lord Miles?
Lord Miles, I think. Here comes Dreamlike. Is about to try to take the lead.
I think Hit Show's done, Kyle, by the way.
Dreamlike is about to take the lead. No, Arctic Arrogance fighting back. Hit Show is in between in a weird spot.
Piss off
here.
with this 8, please.
It's Dreamlike.
And
here comes Hit Show in between. I think the class might show. It's Hit Show.
Dude, how many
big bomb there's pumping Lord Miles. Dreamlike. Lord Miles.
Screw you. No,
Hit Show. What in the world? Lord Miles wins the Wood Memorial. Kyle, you got second though. You're in the Derby, right?
How many? Yeah, that should be because Hit Show had about 20 points or something like that beforehand. But how many bad spots can Hit Show be put in a single race? That was slow, extremely slow. But
Pete, I'm sorry, buddy. That's a bummer.
Unbelievable.
There was a lot of bumping, Pete, so I wouldn't give up on your pick 4.
Oh wait.
Oh no, close.
No, that was closer than it looked, but I think he got it. But I think Lord Miles got it. But
the streak of the winner of the Wood Memorial not winning the Kentucky Derby will continue.
Yes, that is intact, Paul.
All right, so wow, what a crazy race that was. Did Croupi clunk up for 4th?
Bump.
I think he did.
Jeez.
There was a lot to talk about here. The first turn was crazy. Let's see what happens. Let's see if Lord Miles had anything to do with the first turn. I don't think so. No.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Boy, Slip Mahoney was just
Jesus.
Slip Mahoney got a brutal trip. Hit Show was
he actually almost got the bob too, Pete. That's the funny.
He had the bob. Yeah. He had the bob. The bob was right. He just was too far back.
Yeah, just a little bit.
I gotta believe there's gonna be an inquiry in the stretch run, guys. It sure looked like there was a lot of bumping. So Pete, I wouldn't give up on your pick 4.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like Hit Show was 5 wide on the first turn, then he gets in between the entire time and then gets whacked. I don't know. It's stupid.
He was the best horse. Horse. I don't know how good
it's going to be. Yeah.
I don't know how good he is, but I think he's decent. And that was a very rough trip. So
I feel like the sad thing is that with a trip like this, this is going to be, wise guy territory at this point. Look at that. Just
there's a lot of bumping
there's the red sign right there.
Actually, Hit Show came out, Kyle.
Yep. Either way,
I didn't see anything
crazy.
I don't know who you would take.
No, that was not Croupi up the inside. Croupi was just awful. They're showing the head on. Pete, I'll let you talk. Here's the head on, Pete. Give everyone your thoughts.
Let's see.
Let's see what happens.
Well, we're looking at right now. Nothing is happening just yet.
It's gonna be. I think the 7 and the 1 or 8 and the 1.
Well, here comes the 1, but I mean, I didn't see anything. Oh, there's the.
Yeah, they both come in, but I don't think it's gonna be enough.
Yeah, Hit Show looks like there. He's like, you need to get off me, first of all. That's what he's saying.
Then they get a hit again before the wire. It's
Yeah,
just a lot of racing incident there.
I don't think
know if
there's
it's gonna
any way
change.
you could pin that on any one of those three. I think they all did a little something, right?
I think if anything, Dreamlike would come down, but he finished third. It had no effect on the
Yeah,
outcome.
so it doesn't matter. Yeah,
I
so
don't
it
think
really
Lord
doesn't
Miles
matter.
did anything, guys. This is just another complete bomb.
I think this one's at least a little more justified than the last one that we watched, but I don't think this is going to be a change.
If Manny Franco, whom I like a lot, is sitting on the favorite, he's got to be outside of this horse. He can't be in position to get caught between there.
Yeah,
agree.
If he's outside the 8, he wins the race. Period.
I'll have to watch the whole race to see if he had an opportunity to do that, Paul. It just looked like
he started in the 13, so there was a reasonable chance he could have been outside.
He got brought in, and then all of a sudden Lord Miles came to his outside on the turn. You'll actually see it right here. That
he's
they're
inside.
basically
I don't know how he
running
gets
together.
Yeah, he could. Paul, he had Lord Miles who was outside on the final turn. I don't see how he tried to get to the outside, but Lord Miles had too much gas and just wouldn't let him. Great ride. Whoever's Lord Miles was a great ride. You guys
let me see.
Paco.
Oh, of course it's
Jesus,
Paco.
Of
course it's Paco. Son of a bitch, man.
Guys, that was a catch mount because it was supposed to be Lascano, I think.
No. Lascano, Arctic Arrogance was the pickup.
Thank you. Yep, that's it.
Okay, thank you.
For Linda Rice.
And there was, by the way, looking at the form, there was zero chance of ever coming up with Lord Miles, by the way.
Safi's in the Derby.
Shove it.
Oh, Jesus.
Hey,
More
any
money.
horse that can run 5th to Tapit Trice, Howard, can win a Grade 1 race. And Lord Miles
if this horse
5th.
finishes 5th, that'd be amazing.
No, he ran 5th to Tapit Trice in the Tampa Derby.
I'm saying the Kentucky Derby is what I meant.
Oh, this horse will finish 19th in the Kentucky Derby.
At least I wasn't alive to the double anymore.
Although he is the son of Curly.
Guys, if Hit Show had won, I think there would be an inquiry against him in the 8, in my opinion, because I thought Kyle mid-stretch, Hit Show came out.
It's gonna show it right
Lord
here.
Miles without Dreamlike having an effect on it. Do you know the spot I'm talking about?
Yes, I know exactly the spot you're talking about.
So I think again, we're watching live. You got everyone at home. We're about 5 or 6 seconds behind you. It's not there. I'm assuming we're watching.
It's right there, yeah.
Right there, he comes out. I thought, right. That's mutual. Boy, I don't.
There was twice. So I think what they're looking at, there was twice that they sandwiched Hit Show, and then there was once that Hit Show came out on his own. That's that. I don't think they're going to take this down.
I feel very strongly and say there should definitely be no change at all.
I agree completely.
I feel like Lord Miles should come down.
Racing
pretty obvious to me. Yeah,
the FIA is calling, Pete. I think you might get
what, Pete, the longer it stays up, the better off you are.
I mean, they got to be looking at something, right? Or they just fell asleep, or they're doing shots or something. Who knows?
$750,000 race with a Kentucky Derby.
I want to be in that steward's room.
Yeah, me too. Like,
we got Katie thought Dreamlike. Please comment in the chat. Katie thought Dreamlike caused it. Pete, I have to say, Pete, the only solace you can take is everyone on this screen, I'm sure, has been involved in some horrible beats in their lives, much more so myself and Paul, just based on our ages. It's an awful feeling when you're like in the home stretch and like none of your horses are like have any chance at all.
Well,
and the one that does is your lowest price, of course.
Is your lowest one and still can't win, and you can't even. Well, and
you didn't have Dreamlike either. Yeah, forgot about that.
No, and it's to a 60-1 shot. That's what makes it worse. Well,
you know how many times, Pete, I've lost with the favorite in the last leg.
So many times, Paul.
When I tell you hundreds, I'm not exaggerating.
I believe.
Well, and Slip Mahoney got murdered on the, didn't
turn. But
he was taken out. Yeah, he got taken out. So he had no shot. And the other two were just running second to last and last, basically. So with this,
I wonder what they're going to look at. Krupe finished 5th or 6th, I think. He ccame up the inside, just was late.
I tell you, Arctic Arrogance might be okay in a 1-turn 7 furlong a mile.
Yeah, he's a really nice New York bred. If I'm distracted, I'm trying to catch my $200 all turf pick 3 singling the Clement here in the Keeneland race, and Joel's got this horse like 8 lengths off the lead, but it looks like it's a fast pace. Guys, it's been what a strange day. I don't really know how to. And when I say strange, I mean generally speaking bad for me from a betting standpoint. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I had some nice opinions in general, but my horizontals were a complete disaster today. And listen, there are a lot of weird. There's a lot of weird stuff happening.
Sorry to interrupt. No change in the Aqueduct race. No change.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's right, guys.
Yep,
Well, I'm going to show the Lord Miles. I don't know who this is. Fave Funny Farm, whoever you are, thanks for joining the show. We appreciate it.
And that's an astute viewer right there.
Yeah, I'm about to watch my Clement horse not get the job done and lose my $3
never mind.
3, so it wouldn't have mattered, even if the 9 had won. It doesn't. I don't think if this one wins from here, the Chad's gonna win this race. Okay, all right. Anyway, all right, doesn't even matter. But Bad B Brian did cost me a huge pick 4 instead of a $6 pick 4, but I would have lost the.
Seems like every race I don't play the chalk race. It's crazy.
Let's bring up Lord Miles, guys, then we'll end the show. Curling, Paul.
He said that, but I don't think that's going to help him, Paul.
Curly.
Right?
Big curly.
Paul, is this just a complete fluke?
Yes.
Okay. There you go.
I love it, man.
Nothing else needs to be said.
No.
Pete, does this make you like Hitchell more or less? It's a weird question because I actually thought he ran. Again, it was a slow field probably, but I mean, he had a shit ton of trouble. He might be a very interesting horse for me, like in 3rd and 4th in a super.
That's what I was just going to say. I feel like he's underneath because he was a little bit questionable potentially to be on the top level anyway. But I think, I mean, he's tough. He ran. I mean, he had the rough trip and he still ran to the end. And we know, I mean, the distance is fine. It seems like for him. So why not? I think the 3rd and 4th spots are going to be super interesting in the Derby. I think that's where you're going to maybe make your money anyway. Like normal is catching that bomb that's overpriced that could sneak in.
So Paul, we'll just have to use a lot under Tapit Trice. That's what we're going to have to do in the super.
Yeah, well, I think you mean over Tapit Trice, Howard, the way you've been talking.
That horse winning the Wood.
I love the horse. I just I don't know.
That's going to knock someone out of the race, though, because that 8 getting in, whoever's in that 19-20 slot,
it was
moved down.
Major Dude is who was there.
Well, Major Dude wasn't planned going. I don't think.
Then if it wasn't, then it was obviously this is before today. You're looking at Cyclone Mischief 17th, Major Dude 18th, King Russell 19th, and Disarm in 20th.
King Russell's a horse I like as a 50-1 can get 4th place in the Derby if he sneaks in.
Okay. Final whip around and we'll end the show, guys. We're going to start with, we'll go with Paul and then Pete and then Kyle. 3 prep races today. Overall, final thoughts, Paul Halloran.
I just, every morning I will wake up hoping Tapit Trice trained well and is healthy for the next 4 weeks. I got 28 days of that.
You and me both, sir. You and me both. Pete?
I say we had 3 races with 3 favorites who could have been potential Derby winners, and you come out of them with a little bit of questions about all of them.
Well said. Kyle?
Let's say fair assessment. I'm just glad, look, we're get the 50 points, so we're both in the Derby. Again, probably one, I would argue, with a little bit more chance than the other, but hey, again, it's the fun ride. I'm not alive to 4-digit scores very often, so I'm just excited to be there, but a lot of weird, like you said, a weird day, a lot of weird races. But again, that's what makes this game great. So completely a great day for betting. And like I said, looking forward to the next month until the Derby.
Despite the supposed negativity, I will close out by saying what I said on Thursday about Tapit Trice. Hope he comes out healthy, which I'm assuming he is, has a real nice final quarter and doesn't get like horribly checked or steadied. Check on all those. No pun intended. Very happy about that with Tapit Trice. It's on to Louisville. I think he has about as good a shot as pretty much anyone in the race if he just gets the right pace situation and runs his race. Guys, it's been a lot of fun. This is going to be our last live show probably until Royal Ascot, at least for a while. So it's been anyone out there, we really appreciate the viewership. If you haven't subscribed before the show started, we are only 34 short of 2,000. So please make sure you hit that subscribe button. Hope you guys had a great day. For my co-hosts, for hosts of Bettin, Boozin, Kyle Roscoe, and my co-hosts, Pete Visco and Paul Halloran, this has been your host, Howard Kravitz, episode 247 of the HHH Racing Podcast. Everyone, enjoy the rest of your night. Have a great rest of the weekend. Take care. Bye-bye.
Rapids. If you have not followed his Triple H horse racing podcast, you're missing out. It's one of the best podcasts in the country.